Well, I just started the recording, so let's go.
Oh. Do you do an intro or do you just take clips? Well, how does it work? I don't know.
I just freak people up by starting the recording, and we go from there.
That's fine. I always assume on camera. I'll just stir my tea, and this is where I'm going to make an effort to be really dull. So.
Well, for anyone who doesn't know who you are, let the people know who you are.
Okay, I'm HexDSL. I've done YouTube, Linux-themed YouTube stuff for about, I want to say like 5 years now. It might actually be longer than that. Yeah, I've been around for ages just doing stuff. Mostly I take first looks at video games, which basically means like my channel started where I just like load up a game, be like, yep, this is Linux and this game works, move on with your day, you know? And then if it didn't work, I then sort of troubleshoot it. And that's how my channel started. But now I tend to I just decided that Linux gaming as a niche is essentially over because Linux gaming is just gaming. There's no niche there anymore. So over the last 12 months, I've been basically doing whatever I want. But because I'm such a ridiculous nerd, it's very much in the Linux space. But I've even sort of started doing like book reviews and stuff on my channel. I'm just like, I'm a nerd who uses Linux. This is the shit I do.
Yeah, I've been watching your channel for not 5 years, maybe like a year or so. Sorry, a year or so. And yeah, I've noticed it's mainly been gaming stuff, and I actually do enjoy that because, especially since I started making Linux YouTube videos, it's hard to watch the same sort of stuff that I make. Like if I go watch, say, like DT or Luke Smith, it's just like this is the same video I would make. It's basically just me watching someone do basically a different version of my own thing.
Yeah, you're like, there's no value. I'm just wasting my time. I can think to myself and not watch YouTube. Yeah, now I know what you mean. Exactly.
Like, there are exceptions, like when Luke will go on some rant about, I don't know, roads or something. Like I can watch that. But when it's just like the regular Linux stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Linux is such a wide topic, right? And I find that like I'm a gamer mostly. Like that's mostly what I do with my time when I play video games. And I will absolutely argue. I mean, there's a lot of Linux people in the Linux space that say games are a waste of time and say that you should grow up and games are like, games aren't something healthy to do. That's absolute bollocks. No one gives people shit for reading a book for 3 hours, right? And playing a video game and reading a book for 3 hours, there is no difference. Like, if anything, playing a video game is keeping your mind more active than reading a book. And I say that as an avid reader, you know? Like, someone can watch TV for 2 hours and think nothing of it. But if I play Halo for 3 hours, so everyone freaks out. I don't think there's any less value to gaming than any other pastime. I kind of try and bring that to my videos as well.
I think part of what that is that a lot of the Linux audience is considerably older. Like I think my average age is 25 or 30. So obviously if you had like the younger audience who watches a lot of the, I don't know what the kids watch now, Fortnite videos or something, obviously they're gonna not really think the games are a waste of time. But if your average age is in like the 30s and the 40s, I can see why some people would say that. Just because when they were younger,
I am 40, so
Yeah, well, there are exceptions to the rule. Like I have some viewers on my channel who are like 65 who've been using Linux for 20 years and like, oh, I'm learning stuff from your videos because I've never bothered with desktop Linux.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. Linux is great.
Yeah,
I don't know if you find it as well. When I always had this thing, especially before I was making videos, probably the thing that led me to making videos though, was I always felt like I wasn't using my time enough. Like I always should be doing something else. So I'd play video games and I would have that feeling that like, oh, I should be like, I don't know, vacuuming or doing something that feels productive, because ultimately nothing's productive, right? It just feels productive. So like kind of one of the things that led me to wanting to record videos was that need to feel productive. And I was like, well, if I'm playing video games for a creative thing, then that makes it less of a waste of time. That's kind of was in the back of my head when I started. It wasn't the reason, but it's certainly something in the back of my head when I started. And I think that kind of helps set into motion my whole opinion that video games are valuable.
No, I get exactly what you mean. Like I sort of started learning about Linux a bit before I started the channel, and I just wanted to sort of talk about my experience and I guess messing with Linux and stuff like that, like it is a waste of time. Like configuring your desktop to look exactly the way that it looks. Like, but if you can make money,
game, right? It's a game.
If you can make money from it, or you can maybe educate some people about it. Maybe you're doing something productive. And that's I feel exactly the same way. And that's the same reason I'm starting up a gaming channel, so I can give myself an excuse to play some games.
Oh, I see. You're here to take all my viewers. I see how it's going to go. You can take all my viewers.
No, you've got Actually, no, I'm going to be swearing in my content as well. I don't swear on the main channel just because I like money, but apart from that, you're more...
Oh, I don't...
You got the British audience. Yeah, you can take that.
Yeah, I mean, being British, I don't know, bad language isn't inherently offensive to most people over here. I know there's an age difference there, but like for the most part, we're not offended by bad language. And I think in Australia, you guys aren't either, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
But because YouTube is so American centric, it's like he said an F word. It's like that's the end of the world. But like my channel's like not big enough to make any serious money. Like I've never done this for money, and I've never chased clicks either. I just kind of talk about stuff I'm interested in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always in the back of your mind. You'll be like, I'll make this video. People will like this, But I'm thinking people will like this. I'm never thinking I'll make this video, it'll make money, or I'll make this video, it'll get hits. So I've just never cared at all about about any of the filtering stuff that YouTube want.
Well, if I really cared about making money, I'll do videos like, top 10 reasons to use Arch Linux. Top 10 reasons why Ubuntu is bad. Like that's how I make the real big bucks. But
I really hate those videos.
Some of them are good.
Like they're all the same, right? Like you can I keep now don't steal this, but I'm planning a video, right, where I'm gonna call it the desktop review. And I'm just gonna say a bunch of generic things and just show a screenshot from every distro I can find, because I have a theory that you can just do one script and do every distro review with it. And I'm actually like planning on getting around when I'm feeling less lazy of just doing it, because you can go the desktop they've chosen, just go like GNOME, KDE, like Plasma, you can just go through them all and go, it's a good implementation that looks nice out the box, because they all do. There's no difference. You go, the package manager works really well once you get used to its nuances. It's such a generic thing to say. These videos have no worth at all.
I don't know if you've heard about them or not, but there's this new thing on YouTube called YouTube Shorts. It's been out for like 2 or so weeks.
No.
Okay.
What's this?
Basically, YouTube is trying to compete with TikTok.
Oh god.
So they're boosting up these like minute-long videos. If you tag them, if you tag them with a hashtag shorts in the description and title, basically it's pushed into this weird thing. It's similar to the stories, but not the same. You won't see them properly on desktop. They just don't work properly on desktop. Also, they have to be vertical video, but I feel like something like that could actually work potentially in that format if you could tolerate making vertical video.
See, that's really bad that I've been doing YouTube for like 5 years and I didn't even know about this, because anytime they send me an email, I'm like, delete.
Oh no, they didn't send an email about it.
They didn't even bother sending an email.
No, I had to. Someone let me know about it because some random YouTube channel building channel I've discovered the feature. That's how you make the real bucks. Talk about finance and talk about how to make a YouTube channel, because YouTube boosts up the CPM massively for those. I think some of those have like $20 or $30 CPMs.
Yeah, I've got a job, right? I've got like a full-time job.
Yeah.
If I stop, like, if YouTube stop being fun, I just stop.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like doing it. It's like I don't want to work at it. I'm like, I'll talk about a video. Like this week, I've been like messing with DWM, so I've just made like 2 videos about DWM because that's what I'm doing. Which I feel like it makes my content more honest, because I literally just cover stuff I'm doing. It's rare where I'll go, that'll make a good video, and that's the reason I do it. And I hope that comes across in my videos.
I think it does. What I sort of wanted to do with my stuff was I wanted to cover a lot of the gaps that a lot of other channels were missing, because you've got these thousands of random little projects that are being started every single day, and most of them get no attention whatsoever. And I sort of wanted to be looking at some of them, but maybe saying okay, here's what you could potentially do better. Here's what some of the competition to that actually looks like. But most of the time people do those sorts of videos, they're just looking at here's Neo Fetch, here's Bash Top, here's some other popular one. It's just everyone already knows about these.
Yeah, I hate it when people I found this niche application. It's Bash, and you're like, what? I'm sorry, what? Or I got this niche application. It's called OBS. It's like, that's not a niche application, mate. That everyone knows about that. Stop talking. Just move on.
You will be
nightmare.
surprised though that there are still some people who just somehow manage to live under such a rock they've never heard of it.
I mean, we all have knowledge gaps, right? Like, there's always
Sure.
an application you've not heard of. There's always going to be something you don't know about. And like, I have that a lot. Like, you know, there'll be something everyone knows about, and I'll go, "Oh shit, how did I miss this one?" But yeah, there are certain channels where they assume everyone's an idiot, and they're the only person that reads anything, which is just great.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem I have noticed, but
Yeah.
I don't
And,
think.
then there's my favorite people in the comments. Now, most of my people who leave comments on my videos are lovely, and they leave a lot of people leave interesting, insightful things. But then there's these fly-by-night lunatics, right? They just like drive into the channel, right? And they just go like, "You should make a video about blah," and you're like, "I literally did that yesterday." You're talking about yesterday's video, and like they're like, "Hey, I've been watching content for ages. I was just wondering why you don't use a tiler." It's like, this video is about a tiler. What are you talking about? What are you saying?
My favorite one is, what distro are you running? So in all of my videos, I have NeoFetch run whenever I launch a terminal. It shows a giant Arch logo. It says Arch Linux next to it.
I mean, that's why I went through a phase that, and I decided I didn't care. I was just like, I'll let them ask. They can ask. I can just ignore them.
No, I just like the look of it. I don't do it for the people.
Yeah. I used to do that. I used to have the info, what's it called, the terminal information screenshot tool thing. And then I was one night, it was like 3 a.m. and I was working on something, I opened the terminal, and this big thing come up with all this information. I was like, why am I telling myself this? I know that. Who am I telling? And I was like, why? And so I turned it off, and I was like, I'll turn it back on if I'm making a YouTube video. Never turn that back on again.
Yeah, it's fair.
I was just like, I know what distro I'm on. I don't need to tell myself that. I can just open my terminal. It's fine. Yeah, but I do think they only exist so YouTubers don't have to keep repeating their distro. I think that's the only reason it exists.
Also for Unix porn.
Yeah, Unix porn is the most boring place on earth, right?
I know.
Because like a few years ago, you go there and you was like, "Oh, that's cool. That's interesting. It looks like an Amiga." And now it's like, "Oh, look, it's a tiler with a terminal." And and everyone goes, "We're going to use terminals. We're going to use tilers because that's correct." But everyone who takes a screenshot of Unix porn, let's float those windows. Let's float them. Like, they're all floated. It's not even a tiler at that point. But everyone's like, "Look at this. How good does it look?" It's like, no, it looks like those 50 screenshots there. Just go do something different.
As much as I like people like Luke and Mental Outlaw, I do blame them for this, because they're the reason why this has happened.
I'm not a fan of a lot of Linux YouTubers. Because I just find their content
That's
content
entirely fair.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the problem is, like, as nerds, and I'm a nerd. I'm a proud nerd. You know, I'm happy to be a geeky Linux user, right? You know, I'm reading a book about the history of Unix right now. You know, I'm a nerd.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, there's this whole thing that, like, in nerd culture, that there becomes this thing that becomes the standard. Like, it becomes a safe thing to say that tilers are good, so everyone gravitates towards the thing that's safe and is not going to cause an argument on Reddit. And then they go like, okay, so when people post screenshots, they always have their terminal open, so I'll have my terminal open because that's the other thing. And we become this weird traveling herd. So everyone's in this same this river going. Everyone's just like at the edges of the river, but everyone's afraid to go, "Fuck you, I love GNOME." Because I'd have so much more respect for the dude that comes in there. He's like, "Fuck you, I love GNOME and I use it stock." I'm like, that's badass, you know. That's the guy that's coming shaking things up.
Oh, that's a great idea. I should just post a screenshot on there of like base GNOME.
It's totally valid to go, GNOME's a great project. I happen to really like all the things they do, so I'm using it. Well, like a lot of years ago now, when I first started, there was this trend of making your Linux look like Windows 95. Right? That was like a big deal, right? I want to see the guy in 2020 that's like, I like Windows 95, but I don't like XFCE, so I made my KDE look like Windows 95. And I just want to see that guy just totally defending his case. And I'd love to, they're all going to either jump on him or treat him like he's some avant-garde genius. Yeah, but either way, I'm supporting that guy. He's just being honest. Because if you look at the dot files of all these people on Unix porn, and you go into their dot files and you go, bullshit, do you use this? You don't use this. Like, you don't use this. You've got no launchers. You don't even have D menu configured. You have nothing here. You are not using this. This is just for the screenshot. It's not performance art, dude. Move on.
Yeah, with that KDE, if you're running that, the only thing that's allowed to be posted on Unix porn is make it look like whatever the newest version of macOS is. That's the only thing you're allowed to do now.
See, I've never used a Mac. I don't think I've even seen a Mac. So people keep doing things like that. And I'm like, that looks all right, actually. I'm like, oh, it's a Mac. Okay. I just don't know.
Apple
And I'm
has
like,
good
"Does it
design
not?"
sense. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. They've overpriced hardware and a weird bastardization of Unix, but they look nice.
Oh, and they're trying to make their own version of Chromebooks with their new ARM chips.
I mean, to be fair, that's not actually a bad for them.
Not.
That's a really good
Yeah.
idea, right? From a
Apple-
business point of view, that's a great idea for them.
Apple actually has those developer connections. They can make that work. Chromebooks were a mess, and still are a mess.
I've heard that, yeah.
Unless you do everything in a web browser, but even for most things, you're eventually going to run into like some weird niche thing you need to do. Where it's like, I need this random application, and there's no other way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I basically can't even comment on a Mac. I literally have never used one.
I'm talking about just doing everything in a web browser.
Oh, the web browser. I thought it was on about the Macs specifically.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds
like. Yeah, that sounds like a nightmarish dystopian future, like only having a web browser.
Mm-hmm.
I get that there are people that be happy like that. I like to fuck around with my computer, right?
Yeah,
I want to be monkeying around with the terminal. I want to be doing stuff. There are times when I want two windows side by side. I can't imagine like a web browser's particularly,
No, they're a bit heavy.
Well for that. Yeah. And even if it like somehow pops out tabs or just puts the tabs side by, I don't know. I don't want to do that. But people like it, and I think that we often default to saying that the way we use computers is the correct way. And I don't think we mean to be that elitist about it, but it's easy to go, this is the way I use a computer. This is obviously correct. And then like you'll talk to the Windows guy who's like, well, this is the way I use my computer. It's obviously correct. The reality is, if people have tasks they want to perform and whatever computing device they do does it, then it's fine. It does not everyone has, there are people like my daughter, right? She's 16 and she can basically do everything she wants on her phone with one hand while she's not even paying attention. And I pick it up and I'm like, I don't understand this thing. I don't understand it. But then like I pop open a terminal, I'm quite at home. It's easy to think that our way is the right way. And I'm sure that a web browser is enough for most people. Like I bet it is, to be honest.
I don't think that's a problem with just you. Like I open up Instagram now and they keep changing the interface. I have no idea how to post anything on that app anymore.
Yeah. Because my daughter uses it. That's why I have Instagram installed. It's the only reason I post Instagram. And I occasionally post or I remember it's a thing. And I opened it the other day and I was like, I'll just take that off my screen. I just dragged it away. I was like, I don't want to see that ever again. No.
I think you have to like click a plus at the top or something, and then you can post to your your page. And then if you press down the bottom, you can post to your story or something.
You can swipe to the left to get a selfie camera as well. And I'm like, why? Like, I've got a camera up on my phone. I don't need you. But people seem to like it, and in theory, it's kind of fun just to like take a snap or something and post it, and I do it just because my daughter's on there, so often I'm going to open. She messages me on it and stuff, and in theory, it's fun. But like it used to be like a bunch of people you follow post pictures, you scroll up and see them. Now you see two people you follow, and then you get like recommended posts, and it's like, no, I don't want these. I don't want any of these. And then you just end up staring at cats for 40 minutes and going, what? I didn't want that.
Oh, if we get back to things that are just not popular, say, around Linux, if you just mention Systemd in a positive light, it doesn't even have to be like, I like Systemd or anything, just Systemd isn't bad.
I'll go one step further. Systemd is great because all these, like, I would bet there's two sorts of people that hate Systemd, right? There's the people that have never used anything else and they just hate it because it's a popular thing to say. And then there's the people that survive perfectly happily without it and they don't want it, right? But what I don't understand is the people that don't want it, just go use a different distro. That's fine, right? Just go use a different distro. They exist. Just go use them. That's like totally
R6 exists for a reason. Definitely exists for a reason. Use one of those.
And the thing is, you're choosing to play Linux on difficult mode there, right? Because there are so many things that don't quite work right with that Systemd. And that's that implementation. Like, while it means that I think Red Hat have got more control over Linux as a whole, these distros still exist, right? So like, while like yes, it's true that it's outside the Linux philosophy and it's a large monolithic program that does a lot of binary stuff that should be text mode and stuff. I get all the criticisms, but have you ever tried using a computer without Systemd? Because I'm like, okay, I want to start a service, and I'm like, how do I start a service? It's just Systemd's fine, and like And like the reason it's used is not some global conspiracy by Red Hat. It's that it came along and it was actually a pretty good alternative for what it was using. So people was like, "I'll use that. It's all right." And that, I mean, it got popular because it's pretty good at what it does.
It made
I
things
would
easier,
argue that,
so we don't need all of
oh,
these
yeah,
random other applications.
I think I do sit in a middle ground though, because I like systemd. I'm a fan of what it does, like start services, close services. I'm a fan of all these things, right? But there's a lot of things it does that are there to benefit the server, right? There's a lot of things it does that are no use to the home user. So why doesn't Mr. Pottering do a spin called, the home edition, maybe, like just the version for home, the version for the desktop PC. So we take all the server stuff you don't need, we strip it down, or we throw it away, or we make a slimline version, and we just make systemd Lite for home. That seems like a nice compromise that would please everyone. But the reality is, it's too monolithic, and they're right, so no one can do that, which is a shame.
No, you've made one mistake there. You just said that Pottering should do it, and if Pottering touches it, everyone will hate it.
That's true. That's true. I like
this
that
man
guy,
is the
though.
devil.
I like how mean he is. I know, but he's so smug and mean. I like him. He's fun.
I do.
He's just, he's making great software, and he's just really smug about it. He's got that smug little grin. I love it. He's great.
I need to make a video talking about the irrational hatred of Lennart Pottering, because there are so many people who don't even know anything he's done. It's just like, I hate Lennart Pottering because I hate Lennart Pottering.
I mean, if you just see a picture of him out of nowhere, you're like, that guy looks like a git. You're just like, I want to smack that dude. But then you watch him talk, and then he's just so like, that he says things specifically to get a rise out of people. Or if it's not conscious, he's got some subconscious stuff going on there that just makes him want to wind people up. But they keep using his software because it's actually really good. I mean, like Pulse Audio, people spend all their time moaning about Pulse Audio. You show me someone who's not using it.
It works
because the reality is, and the people that aren't using it, and like, what are you using your computer for? And it's like entirely free software, and you're like, okay, so you're not on Discord, you're not playing video games, you're not doing all the stuff that makes life is easier because of it. So like a lot of these, like the people of object systemd as well, like, you're not using your computer in, I don't like saying it, but like a mainstream way, and that's why you're coping with it, because without Lennart's magic words, magic code, computers are harder, and it's a shame because I feel like he does get a bad rap, but I swear he enjoys it.
I completely respect not wanting to use Pulse Audio if you're trying to do like audio production work. Use Jack for that. Yeah. It's better.
Yeah, fine.
But if your reason is I don't like it because it was buggy 15 years ago, like have you tried using it again?
But then they'll come in and they'll go, okay, I'll try using it. But then like you come to it, you don't know what you're doing with it because a lot's happened in the last 15 years, and then you go, it doesn't work. And he's like, whoa, we can fix that by opening the config file, my dude. Chill out, But I think that is the other problem in Linux, and this is part of the systemd and Lennart thing, is that back to that obsession with doing things a specific way because that's the correct way. Linux is supposed to be about choice, right? Like I'm a full-time Linux user who runs a Linux YouTube channel and a Linux chat room on Discord, right? Chat room. Like, now I'm saying my age. And over there is my Windows machine. It's like, it's fine. It's like, I wouldn't want to do my banking on Windows, but it's okay to play Star Wars games with a friend. It's like, it's fine to just use a tool, outside of what you want, because I don't want to have Windows machine, but I do want to play with my friends, and I don't want to use proprietary software, but I do want to use Discord to chat with my friends. There comes a point where you have to go like, let's flex a little bit. And if you don't want to flex, I totally respect that. The people that are like, no, you shall not pass, I respect the shit out of those people, but I don't think it's useful for them to angrily campaign against this software. They should try and say, hey, this is why I do this. Maybe you would like to do things my way. And that way, a lot of people go, actually, you make some great points. I'm going to start doing things your way. But when they're just like, let's get Lennart and burn him, and, they get there with their pitchforks outside his house and stuff, right? And he's there just making a sandwich and grinning. He's like, that's great, They're not helping, right? They're not helping their own case. If they'd explain themselves, they'd get so much further. And also, it's just okay if you don't want to use it. Like, I know people that won't use Discord, which is why I have an IRC room as well, right? And I'm like, I'm fine with that. That's cool. It's your personal privilege to say, like, I want to use only free software. And that's a totally viable way of doing it. But once you start campaigning as if that's the only way, it's like, well, that's not useful to you or them. It's just, you're making people just turn your volume down. They don't want to listen to you.
Yeah. I have people here that keep bugging me about setting up a Matrix room, and I will do it for any of you people watching soon.
No, I'm not going to.
At some point. And then I'll bridge. They keep saying, "Oh, you should make a matrix room, then bridge your Discord in the matrix room." I'll do it at some point, and I can
You know
respect.
what?
And I can respect
Like,
that position.
I respect the position, but at the same time, if you're happy to use Discord via Matrix if it's bridged, just open the fucking web browser, mate. Just go to the web browser and make an account where you call yourself a made-up name, right? Run it through a VPN and just use it. There's no difference. There's no different. You're going to use it through Matrix. You're still using it. You're just going through a third party. So I don't know, make a VM and open a web browser. I don't see the difference.
One of my mods
Again, though, totally respect their choice to do that.
One of my mods goes through one of the most roundabout ways. It's all good of using Discord. So he's constantly. This is one of the people who's like constantly talking about like Plan 9 and all of these random Unix projects. So.
Bet he's not fucking using Plan 9 though, is he? I bet he's not using that as his main system.
I think he is actually. He's one of those weird people who actually do.
No, he's just renamed it so it looks like no one's using Plan 9. No one's that's like going like Linux isn't hard enough. I'll try BSD. It's not hardcore enough. I'll just code my own operating system with 2 sticks and some sand. Fucking no one's using Plan 9. Sorry.
Anyway, what he does is he's got one of like the terminal Discord clients, but that's not good enough. Right. He's also got a bot that sends his messages from the terminal Discord client over to Discord, so he doesn't have to use Discord.
Wait, does he burst into flames if he touches the Discord? Is that what happens? Is that why he does it?
I don't know. He's always like, I honestly love my audience because it's got a lot of like the 4chan audience and also the regular sane people, and they just merge together in this one conglomeration of just Linux goodness.
I mean, I love these people, and if someone's like, "This is how I'm using Discord," I'm like, if you're enjoying that, you fucking go. It's when they go, "This is the correct way of using Discord." That's when I'm like, no. But for reference, and I know this is no good for your audience. Maybe if you want to use this clip, put it in there. But this is the official screenshot of Plan 9. Just so you know, that's what they're saying it should look like.
Oh God, where's my cursor? I lost my cursor.
They think that's the best way to use. They think this is the thing. This is the operating system. This is the operating system they want you to use. They're like, this is Plan 9 right here.
Here we go. I've got the power to show screenshots, and it broke all of my cameras.
Nice.
Okay.
That's on their own website. You look at the URL. That's why I posted the URL. They're like, we've just made our operating system, right? Let's look at a screenshot. Not that one. It's too modern. That one's got too many colors. This one's got a fucking stupid bunny rabbit and too much blue. That'll be the one we'll use. There you go, guys. That'll make them want to use it. Yeah. That's exactly. No one's using Plan fucking 9.
That's a
why?
That's a bit of a throwback.
Yeah. And what I love about it, right, is it says like if you go back to the main site, which is just like the core of that there, on the main website for Plan 9 from Bell Labs, it says screenshot, not screenshots. They've just got the one. They're just like this one shot has everything we want to show you. Just done. We are done. We need one screenshot, and it's like, you might want a second one, mate. Have another go at it.
Yes, of course we have to have a plain text website because that's the only way that's correct. Oh yeah, I see it. Screenshot also with a space in it. Because
I know this. I know what we've talked about. This is going to sound like I'm flip flopping a little bit, right? But the web is basically fucked, right? Like
no,
the actual web
is fucked.
And like and in my mind, and I know people disagree strongly with me here, is I say there's no ethical argument anymore. It doesn't matter if you use Firefox or Chrome or Surf or whatever the fuck you want to use, right? The web is owned by Amazon and Google and Microsoft and Netflix, right? You're not saving anything. Like I use Firefox because I like it best, right? For me, there's no ethics involved here. Let the web burn. The faster it burns, the faster somebody's going to fork it or going to make a new protocol where we can get back to using it. And like that's one of the reasons why my own website. You've probably seen my website, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's basically just stylized text. There's nothing on there. It's just text because I can port that thing to Gopher if I have to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like literally, I could script that into Gopher, and I feel like the web itself. Let's just be accelerationist. Let's just let it burn. Stop. Like there's no moral argument against different browsers and stuff. The web is one of them things where it is broken, and I don't think it's me being a curmudgeon or me being like this is the correct way of using it. The web is just a place to spend money now. and we need a new place where people can write blogs and articles and deliver text and documents and videos, maybe. But I do think with the web, like, yeah, we're at the point where it's beyond saving. Just let it burn.
No, that's fair.
Go for
Yeah.
it.
As someone who's done some web development before, I can tell you that it's sort of a meme. Yeah, I did like what was it, like 6 or 7 months of React work, which is, I don't know if you even know what React is. It's a JavaScript framework, because you have to build everything in JavaScript. You can't just use plain HTML. Literally, the generation of the page has to be done in JavaScript now.
Yeah, that sounds like a nightmarish dystopia we live in, the darkest timeline.
But it's the fucking easiest work you've ever imagined. JavaScript is such an easy language.
But it's just more simple. Like a web browser. Look how big a web browser is. It's bigger than the kernel. Like, have you ever tried compiling your own web browser?
People keep telling me to use Gentoo.
The web page.
They're like, oh, you should use Gentoo. It's like, no, I don't want to compile my browser. Fuck that.
Yeah, even Gentoo, they're downloading binaries of the browsers. Even there, they're like, we know this is stupid. Here's a binary, because fuck, who wants to do that? You know?
Oh.
Can you imagine trying to compile a web browser on a Raspberry Pi? You'd literally kill it. It'd die. It'd just stop working.
Like, if you go to a lot of like tech channels that review like CPUs and stuff, they will use compiling Firefox as a benchmark because it's that stupid.
Yeah. But you'll read the benchmark, but like, it compiles Firefox in just 9.5 hours. Like, no. I can't wait 9 hours to visit Pornhub. That's ridiculous. It's like,
are you making more tea?
Yeah.
Do you have
chain tea?
Do you just have like a
chain tea? Yeah. What?
Do you just have like a kettle or something right near you?
Yeah. I've got my tea bags up here, right? My tea bags up here, right? Yeah. And that's running low. So here's my spare box of tea bags here, right? There you go. My spare box of tea bags here. And then I've got like this I don't know, urn is the word. It's like a big tube thing, and then I push the button on top, and it delivers 1 cup of boiling water, and I just fill it up like twice a day.
I can respect that.
And I literally chain drink tea at the desk. I literally, like, when my cup's empty, I just put more tea in it until you know. That's what I do.
Oh, I'll have to do that when
this might be weird.
When I get my own place, I'll have to do that. That's a great idea.
This is great. I don't need to leave here. And I have these old bowls I use, and I just put water in them. I can just fill up the kettle out of them. Yeah, so I don't leave. And I got a little bin down here for tea bags, and I empty that once a week, and I don't really need to leave here. I'd probably gonna die here eventually, to be honest.
That is a really nice setup. I have got, actually, I'll show you what I have. So here we go. We have
obviously.
We have a bed with my lighting is done with $10 lamps I got from a hardware store.
You got a lamp lying on its back. That's a fire hazard right there. There's no way that's not a fire hazard.
Oh yes, but it looks cool.
I can do.
Then over here we've got some. Actually, can't even see it because it's dark.
We've got some dark over there where we keep the darklings.
We've got clothes on the ground.
Is that your handbag? Is that your handbag?
Yes, it's a handbag.
Nice.
It's convenient. And then we've got a shelf of lots of light novels and stuff here, and some anime figures up here as well.
Yeah.
And then a closet with vitamins in it.
Purple.
Nothing too crazy. I don't have any like fucking kettles in my room. Speaking of fire hazards,
I forgot. I've got enough slack now. I did some wiring today. So here's me. Look, here's me. Hello, me. Right. And then over here we've got like the wall of controllers, which have got little IKEA shelves. I'm doing this badly. Little IKEA shelves with and there's a picture of me as a cardboard cutout that I don't ask. That was for a bit I did for a while back on stream, and I just thought I'd
just kept it
myself around. Yeah, I just kept it. There's my tea bags live up there, and my peanuts live up there. Right, and then they got some. That's my manga right there. There you go. My big shelf of manga, the big shelf of comic books back there, right? Over there. Oh fuck! This is way harder than it looks. You did a great job at this.
Did I? I felt like I did pretty terrible.
Oh my god! How do you do this? And there you go. There's my other desk where I do soldering and stuff.
Ooh!
But it's also where it's also where the windows, and that is boxes of comic books there as well. Because, you know, nerd. Yeah, and that's yeah, and that's yeah. This is, you know, there's you, hello you, hello. And yeah, that's it. There you go. I did it. That was the office tour. I'm gonna put that. I should put that on YouTube. You know.
I'll clip it. You can have it.
I'm all right. I don't think I mean, I've got my room. I can probably make my own if I want it.
Oh, surely.
I do have.
Yeah. I'm guessing you're just what webcam is that? Is it just a C920 like everyone else has?
Well, it is a C920. It's actually this C920.
Oh, you got two of them.
Yeah, I've got two of them. Usually, I have one set up looking down on my desk. But I've basically been using it so infrequently. I was like, I'm going to cannibalize the parts of that mic arm to fix my squeaky mic arm, which is why today, no squeak, I fixed it. And I was like, I basically never use it, but I'm thinking I might do something with fishing wire and just have it like dangling or something. I don't know. I might do something like that later, but yeah. So just C920, because like you pay like 50 quid for a C920 and you get as good a camera as someone has paid like 200 for YouTube. It's like there's no point getting a better camera, right?
You think you pay that? Have you seen how much the scalpers have been selling them all year? You probably haven't.
I actually, well, I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm glad I've got two, because you know this one, the one I'm actually talking to you on, I got on Amazon last Christmas for £20. Like it was just, I think it was like priced wrong or something. I was like, okay, sold, not a problem. But yeah.
But yeah, now they've been like, like 150 Australian, 200 Australian. I don't know what that is in UK money.
It's about £1 million probably.
Now our dollar's pretty terrible, so
you know what? It's because the C920
is good.
Been replaced, right, with the 925. Is it the
I know the one you're talking about.
And the 925 doesn't work as well in Linux. And yeah, that's what I think. That's probably what £89. Wow, they're £89. That's the fuck is paying £89 for a webcam? Just buy a camera at that point.
Also, this camera is like 8 years old. Go buy yourself like a second-hand GoPro off of eBay.
I mean, that'd be cheaper at this point, right?
It would be, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And those GoPros have got okay mics in as well, don't they?
Some of the newer ones do, yeah. If you go like, I think anything past like the Hero 4 is fairly decent. But if you got like
the fact they called the camera.
One of these guys.
I like the fact they called their cameras heroes, like they're going to save the fucking world or something. Like it's Wonder Woman in the form of a camera. It's like, what is wrong with them? Have a respectable name, like CX34 or something, you know?
Yeah, just name it like Intel does. Just give it a bunch of numbers.
No, and Intel are fine. It's monitor manufacturers you grab word with.
Oh god, yeah. I couldn't even tell you what the hell this thing's called.
Yeah, I literally don't know what the monitor is I'm looking at. It's a Samsung. There you go. It's Samsung. That's all I can tell you. It's wide.
Yeah, I think they take whatever like the last part of the serial number is and just stick it on the name.
Yeah. I don't even think that. I mean, I think they're worried that if they give them proper names, we'll be able to identify the crap ones easier, and they're like not risking it.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. So look at that. Your mic's all like clean and stuff, right?
I know.
Your mic like looks like looks like it's
sitting on a cheap arm that I got from eBay, but
I'm literally using a Nuri arm. Is it?
Also, my shock mount's like broken, as you can probably tell.
This Micon's basically China's own brand. It's great.
I don't think this one had a brand.
My mic's here's my mic for the camera. There you go. There's my mic.
Yeah, it's an interesting looking mic at this point.
Okay.
I'm guessing there's stickers on your side as well.
When I had a mic when I first started YouTube, it was a Samsung C1U studio condenser mic.
That rings a bell.
It wasn't very good, right? The levels, it always felt like it was crunching. It never quite sounded right to me. And I got pissed off with it. And I was like, I want a mic. And I Googled, and everyone was like, you're doing voice work, just buy a Yeti. And I was like, I want a Yeti. But being a broke-ass bitch, right? I was like, I don't got money for a Yeti. So I went to like a second-hand store, and I was just like, just give me a Yeti if you've got one. They're like, we've got one, but do you want it? And I'm like, just give it me if it works. And they hand me this Yeti, and it looked like someone had played football with it. It's like dented as shit, right? Like under these stickers, right? It's got like blood scars and shit, right? It's like there's like rust and there's like bits of moss in it and stuff. So I was like, I can't put that on camera. So I just got a bunch of stickers, and I just put stickers everywhere there was a dent. I put a sticker, and then I put this little fluffy top on. Right,
I do like the
just
fluffy
to
top.
cover up, to cover the blood and stuff on it, right? To cover its scars. And now it's like we've been together so long now that like I just can't bear to. I've got money now. I can go and buy a new mic if I want. But I'm like, no, we've been together a long time. She mine, you know. We were like we've fought battles together, you know. So
knowing the quality of stuff you get from secondhand shops, I don't know how much of that was hyperbole.
No, well, honestly, I'm not even joking. Look, everywhere there's a sticker, right? That's because there's a massive dent in it, right? So it looked like someone went to town with a hammer, and the fucking thing works beautifully. I say beautifully. It's you can hear how it sounds.
It works like a Blue Yeti does.
Well, you say that, but you see how far away yours is from your face, right? Like my beard is touching this fluffy thing, so there's something not right with it. But it's become such a staple of my channel that my face is inside my mic now. That like I'm like, it's fine. I'll just I've been doing this for years. It's fine. We'll until she dies.
This is what happens if I get close to mine like that. It sounds pretty terrible. I'm trying to be quiet because it doesn't clip.
Yeah, no, like mine's just like this is where I am, and it sounds like yours does at that distance. But like, yeah, I should probably buy a new one. But yeah, I don't want to part with it. It's like if it breaks, I'm gonna do a little funeral for it. I'm gonna do a little burial ceremony in the garden for it. I'm gonna like lower it in. I'm gonna have someone say some prayers and stuff. Just like it's gonna be beautiful.
I think that's a video idea.
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of half hoping it goes now. I think about it. Yeah, the fluffy thing. The fluffy is cool. The fluffy is cool.
Yeah, I know. I like the little foamy thing, but the fluffy thing does look nice as well. It's a very different look.
Definitely more phallic. More phallic, you know. Like, yeah. But the downside, I say a downside, it's not a downside for me, but this fluffy thing smells like tea, right? Because as we've established, I just drink tea at my desk, right? So we've just like, it just smells like tea, which doesn't bother me. But if anyone else sits at my desk, they go, ew. It's just like, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's where I live. Fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Just don't let anyone else at your desk then.
Yeah, I don't. I've got an Ergodox keyboard. It's basically like having encryption.
Oh god, yeah, that's gonna be a problem then.
They sit down and they just go, ooh, and they just don't know what to do.
Yeah, people are grossed out enough by the fact that I have a scissor switch keyboard and not a mechanical keyboard.
If I had known that, I wouldn't have come on your show.
I honestly can't stand scissor switches. Oh, sorry, mechanical switches. I've been using a laptop.
A lot of people. Yeah.
I've been using a laptop way too long. I'm way too used to the laptop keys.
Yeah. Like, I think again, it's people being so precious about stuff. Like you go on the internet and it's like, if you don't have a mechanical keyboard, you're not a whole person or something. It's like, keyboard's a keyboard. Like you can buy a £2 keyboard from eBay and you can play video games. Like you can play Counter-Strike with that and be just as effective as someone with a £500 keyboard. It's like different flavored crisps. Just find what you like. For me, I like the deep travel. I like the sounds it makes, and I really like a split keyboard. I find it really easy on my wrists and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like, if you don't care about that, it's fine. It doesn't matter, you know.
Yes. Speaking of that, like, you get yourself like a £2 keyboard. Every so often, I'll see a video from like some big tech channels. Like, can you game on a $10 keyboard? Like, yes, it's a keyboard. What the fuck kind of question is that?
$10 mouse is a different conversation. $10 mouse you probably get, wouldn't get very far with.
Yeah, this thing's a bit sketchy. It has a left mouse wheel click, but not a right mouse wheel click. Also, if I scroll, it sometimes scrolls and like reverses.
Yeah, you can't play. Don't play Counter-Strike with that. Okay?
No, I need to replace it. I'm waiting for Black Friday.
Yeah. Even though I'm not precious about peripherals. I really like nice peripherals. So like, I'm using the LG Wireless G Pro with the Magic Mat that charges it. So like I've got a wireless mouse that I never have to charge, which is literally like a wizard did it. It's just amazing. I just never have to worry about it. And
that is pretty cool.
I've also got an Alcom, not an Alcom. There's a King's trackball on my desk as well. I like to browse the web with that, and then when I'm gaming, my hand goes to the right, just for the proper mouse. And then I've got the Ergodox as well. So I really like peripherals, but I don't think that means I'm right. I think I'm an idiot for spending so much money on peripherals I don't need, if I'm honest.
I can
But,
understand the
same-
ergodox. The ergodox makes sense if you care about your wrists.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with a regular keyboard, but if you do have wrist problems, or if you just want to make sure you don't have wrist problems, in fact, having an ergonomic keyboard is a great investment.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we can do this, actually. For anyone that doesn't know what an ergodox is.
Oh, yeah, we probably should let them know.
Keyboard. So it's a split keyboard with an odd layout. It's got columnar layout, so it's like an ortholinear. So like W, S, and X are like in one perfect row. So if you lay your hand on, it's directly above and below. So it's not staggered like a normal keyboard, which takes quite a bit of getting used to. But once you have it, I feel like it's less pressure on your fingers.
Yeah, I was going to say, how is that with Vim? Because I know some people aren't a big fan of using Vim with these different sort of layouts.
It's my keyboard, you know.
So you're used to it.
My keyboard, I just use it. When I first had this keyboard, I did a few hours of Mavis Beacon with it, and Mavis Beacon doesn't have an option for a split keyboard, but they do have an option for an ergo keyboard, an ergo keyboard. So I just set it to that mode, and I just did it like a good few hours of Mavis Beacon to just make sure I was hitting the right buttons, and and get back into the rhythm of it. And then after about a week of using it, it was just my keyboard at that point.
That's fair.
It's just my keyboard. The main thing that attracted me to this particular one is not so much the layout, but the software. It's got QMK software in, which means I can have extra programmable buttons. So I've got like these extra modifiers, which I talked about in my last video actually. Like I've got a hyper and a meh, which is two separate. So instead of having just super as my modifier, I've also got these extra two. So what I do is I use those as launchers. So I've got two sets of launchers. They're sort of related. Like the one on the left, if I go like hyper and then B, it'll launch OBS. If I use the other one and B, it'll launch OBS and Chatty. So like I keep them sort of related. So like one does more of what the other one does. I'm probably explaining that really badly, but having all those extra launchers I think really helps. But yeah, as for Vim, it's just my keyboard. I don't really think about it. I mean, I programmed. I put together the layout myself for it on configuration software. I flashed it to the keyboard myself. I know where every button is because I put it there. So I don't. And because I already used Vim when I was doing it, I was thinking about how this is going to work in Vim. So like it's just my keyboard.
Okay, that's fair.
Vim's my mate. Vim's. I've been using Vim for years, right? I've never really made a lot of Vim content on the channel. I've used it in videos, but I've never made Vim content. I made a video about a week ago talking about some stuff I've been messing with in Vim, and some guy in the comments was like, "Finally using Vim." It's like, yeah, like for 3 years, yeah. It's like, what? What about that video made you think I just discovered Vim, mate? I don't understand.
I think my Vim videos are my most popular videos. That's like one of those few Linux topics that do just massively explode.
If you talk about your Tyler by name, talk about Vim right by name, or do any terminal application that no one's heard of, loads of views. It's like a friend of mine pointed out recently. It works like in normal YouTube, they go, "What's big and popular? We'll cover that." In Linux YouTube, we go, "What's no one fucking heard of? We'll cover that." And that's how you get the hits. It's like reverse of the rest of YouTube. It's really weird.
Yeah, I haven't checked my analytics yet, but I upload my videos at about 4 a.m. local time, which is, I don't know, 4 p.m. or something in the US, where I care about uploading it, because that's where people who use Linux mainly live. Anyway, not the point. I did a video on a speed reading application. If you don't know
speed reading,
you don't know what speed reading is. You don't know what speed reading is. That's perfectly reasonable.
I love the thumbnail where you're literally discovering reading in the thumbnail.
Yeah, I've been having fun with the thumbnails. I've got like a bunch of shit around my room. So like, let's just start doing props.
Like I discovered. I had a theory a long time ago that no one cares what's actually on the thumbnail as long as it's brightly colored and has something human looking, right? So a long time ago, I stopped giving a shit. And if you go to my channel, you'll see there are times when I just literally have just like, it's just nonsense. I had a picture of a man wearing a cardigan. There's nothing to do with the video. It was just a man wearing a cardigan, and like that got loads of views, like because it was colorful and there was a person on it. I don't give a shit whatever you like. See how bizarre you can get before someone notices. Right?
Well, I haven't. I actually did try that once. I have a sheep skull over in my closet. Just don't question it. I did the
No,
vid.
no.
I did the thumbnail with it. One person pointed out of 2,000 people who watched it.
It was where's the one I've got? Can I drag and drop that? This one I'm particularly proud of. It had a tin of Campbell's soup on it, a pie, and some lettuce. I just put that in my thumbnail. And this one of my podcast episodes when I was doing Next Penguin, I just put a pug on there, and he had computers for eyes, and I was like, that was fine. people was like, that's great, that's fine. And then I did stuff like this. There you go. So yeah, I just stopped caring. I just had fun with it, and it was fine.
No, I think you're
no
onto
one
it. It's
cared.
just you need to get people to look at it. It doesn't matter if it makes any sense.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah, and I just can't breathe. Like I know for a fact I would get more views if I just did the silhouette of myself thing. But I'm like, that's just work. I've got to cut it out or take it on a green screen. I can't be bothered with that. So I'll just keep putting random strangers on there. It's fine. No one cares.
Just start making the exact same thumbnail for an entire year. I'm not talking about any sort of Linux YouTuber right now who starts with TLG or anything. You guys can work it out.
Is he still going? I don't even look at him. I don't even look at his stuff. He's still going. Oh
He's still going.
He's still going.
He's not doing much gaming content, but I think you're the real Linux gamer.
Thanks. I mean, I play games on Linux.
Yeah, it doesn't actually matter anymore. Maybe it did like 3 years ago.
I know in the show notes, I say show notes in the topic stuff you sent over. You said you was like talking, you was getting back into gaming and stuff. You specifically said in that like what should expect from Linux support.
Yeah, because
here's my theory.
I'm literally just starting now. I haven't ever gamed on Linux.
Right. Don't use Linux native games. And I know like there's people watching it can be like, what did he just say? What? Like they're rubbish. We don't need them. Like back in 2003, like John Carmack, for anyone who doesn't know, genius programmer, the guy behind the software that makes Oculus work, as well as Doom, right? Absolute fun and the beautiful mind of coding. In 2003, they had an interview, and he just went, "Why would you want Linux native? Just emulate everything. It's easier, right?" Like, and I feel like he nailed it on like in his off the cuff comment because like we've proven because of DXVK and now Proton and GL9DX, whatever it's called, like translation layers are so fast because we have so much compute we're not using, right? Like if you're playing a game, your graphics card's doing the work, your CPU is just chilling, right? It's just waiting for instructions. We've got so much compute, we can just insert these translation layers and we can get basically native performance on a game that's not like, so why would we ask a developer to spend the time and money making a Linux version when we don't need it and it's no better? And even then, because there's so much diversity between distros, like the game's not going to work all the time for you. And then you run the Proton version because they've targeted fucking Windows, and Proton emulates Windows to your desktop. I say emulate in the loosest term. No one shout at me for that. It's going to work perfectly. And there's so many times, like you try playing the Linux native version of Torchlight 1. Well, I'll tell you now, you can, but you'll be jumping through many hoops. And you play the Proton version, you hit install, and then you hit play, and it works. That's it. That's it. So, like Linux gaming is, and this is why I'm always saying to people, Linux gaming's dead, not because it died, but because it's just gaming now. We got what we wanted. We transcended Linux gaming. We have most of the games on Linux. And if you're willing to use streaming services like GeForce Now, you can basically play anything on Linux. I mean, I say that I've got a Windows machine over there because I have a friend who wants to play Valorant. And I was like, fuck it, I've got all these spare computers over here. I'll just throw together something for Windows, which is what I did, just over there. And I just used Steam in-home streaming to just stream, some Windows games over, and that's, it's fine. But like with the rare exceptions of specific stuff my friend wanted to play with me, like I can play everything on between GeForce Now and Proton. There's not a lot I can't play.
Like, yeah, I have noticed that it has actually been like that. Like a mate of mine sent me a message on Discord. He's like, "Hey, do you want to play?" I think he was like, "Oh, you want to play Apex?" I checked Proton DB, completely broken. But then I looked at because that one's got like kernel level DRM, which is
GeForce Now. It wasn't GeForce Now that one does Apex.
But then he was like, "Oh, you want to play Payday 2? It's obviously got a Linux native version," and everyone on Proton DB was just like, "Don't use the Linux native version. The Windows version's better."
Yeah. Don't use it. Yeah, just don't use it. It's rubbish. Yeah, they always are. They always are. And it's like I feel, and like there's people on Reddit. You've probably seen them. No tucks, no bucks, right? Like that's your personal politics. Again, that's totally fine. But why are you preaching this like it's a religious cult? Like, just like if I buy a window, like if I buy a game that's only available on Windows and I play it on Linux, that's the most Linuxy solution, right? Like
Mhm.
we hacked it. We took something that wasn't for us and we hit it with a hammer until we made it work. That's awesome, right? That's badass, right? Like badgering a developer until they make a half-assed Linux port of something that then doesn't sell and they never want to support us in the future doesn't help anyone. And this idea of helping Linux they always come out with as well. It's like Linux isn't a corporation. It's not a single entity. It doesn't need help.
Mhm.
It's almost like a virus that's slowly spreading over all the computing. It's going to be just fine whether you play that Windows game or not. And like when I buy a game, I'm not thinking, let me buy a Linux game today. I'm like, I want to play. I don't go. I want to buy a game. Like I want to play a specific game.
Mhm.
Will this work on the operating system? It's never about buying a game as an abstract idea.
Yeah, I
Sorry, a
think
little rant there.
no, that's fine. I think if you're going to be spending your time badgering developers about anything, do it on making sure they don't use these extreme levels of DRM. Make it so you can actually play the game on Linux. Don't try to get them to make a Linux version because everyone's going to benefit from having less strict DRM like that.
Yeah, and also, I mean, DRM doesn't work. I mean, like it doesn't do anything. Like the only people it bothers are the customers that are getting pissed off with it.
Well,
Like,
yeah, there's always a day one crack.
It just doesn't. I mean, it's not a day one crack. Like the idea of DRM is to protect your week one sales, right? So as long as the DRM holds for a first week, great. So take it out on week 2 then, if that's the case.
Yeah,
that's fine. It's a good compromise. Or like an anti-cheat. Now, anti-cheat, as much as I'd like to say we don't need anti-cheat, the reality is people cheat, right? So we do want to keep competitive. Like I wouldn't want to play Counter-Strike with no anti-cheat. But Valve's version of anti-cheat involves overwatching people and it involves like getting, having systems in place that checks for certain actions and stuff. And it doesn't require kernel modules and it doesn't require intrusive behavior. That's fine. It's a perfectly reasonable type of anti-cheat. That's fine. Because I would not want to play Counter-Strike with no anti-cheat. That just, as much as I'd like to agree with that, like people are shitheads. They're just going to ruin it.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect anything different.
Yeah. The problem with multiplayer games is the other people.
This is why I like playing a lot of single player stuff. Like, I've got a collection of PS4 games I just haven't touched, and yeah, I think most of them are single player games. Actually, I think there's like maybe 1 or 2 exceptions. But I just don't like people most of the time.
I mean, yeah, I feel like there are some like sometimes I'll get in this mood where I just want to play an MMO, right? And I usually just either reinstall Final Fantasy or Knights of the Old Republic, right?
Yeah.
I'll just play that one game. I'll play it for like a month or something, and I'm like, okay, I've essentially done nothing for a month apart from play this game. It's time to move away now. Or then there'll be certain multiplayer games. Like I'm playing a lot of Counter-Strike with some friends at the minute, but not. I like Counter-Strike, but it's not really about the Counter-Strike. It's more about hanging out with friends and stuff, right? But if I'm sitting alone, I wouldn't be like alone in the middle of the night at my computer and think, hey, I'm going to load Counter-Strike on my own and play against people. You don't do that, You just like I like it with friends, but I don't really want to play with a load of random people against a load of other random people. It doesn't do anything for me. But that's the sort of time of night where I'll load a single player game and I'll just sort of like turn the music up, turn the lights down, and sort of like get totally immersed in it.
Yeah, I used to do that when I used to play a lot of FPS. Like, this is going back a few years now, back when I'd play like the early Call of Duty games. But now I look back on that, I'm like, why would I ever want to do that? Most of the time I was just angry at my teammates and just didn't want to deal with them because they're all they're either really good and we were just stomping the other team, or the other team was really good and we were just getting stomped.
Yeah, I think matchmaking, if it's working well, you're going to get a 50-50 win-loss, so it's pointless playing. And if it's working badly, you're either just going to be with a group of people who are way better than you, and and it doesn't matter if you're there or not, or you're one of the people that's way better, and you wish the other 4 people wasn't there. Yeah, that's why I like to say when I enjoy Counter-Strike, it's with with 3 of my buddies. We play that together because that's the joy. It's the group activity and the team. Playing with strangers just doesn't do anything for me. And I think most people are the same now.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's part of the reason why, like, these single player, like these sort of MMO-like experience, not single player, these MMO-like experience that are in I don't know, how am I trying to say it? Games like Fall Guys and Fortnite, where you're playing in a multiplayer setting, but you don't, they're just like, it's you against everyone else, basically.
Yeah. Fall Guys was a bit like that, I suppose, wasn't it?
Well, Fall Guys is very RNG as well, so no one's good at Fall Guys, really.
Yeah.
Like, you can be better than other people, but it's not like there's going to come times where you just lose because of RNG.
I don't think. I mean, Fortnite's what. It's Fall Guys is one of those games where like you can't be good at it, right? Like because if you're amazing personally, they still put you in a team game half the time. So like half the time, it doesn't matter how good you are. You can just sit down and win or stand. Nothing you do makes a difference.
Yeah, it seems like the team elements are the worst parts of that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a game. It's almost like a screensaver you get to interact with. It's not. I bought it because everyone was talking about it, and I played it for 2 hours, and then the news came out that it was going to stop working on Linux, and I was like, good, I'm glad. And I just closed it. I was like, I'm pleased. I don't want to play that again. I'm glad it doesn't work.
Oh.
It's an anger generator.
Yeah, as much as it's good to be angry sometimes, I just want to chill. Let me just go play some like JRPG for 100 hours.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. Like there are certain times when I want to shoot things and scream, and I'll load Doom. There are certain times when I want that experience, but most of the time in gaming, I've been playing a lot of King's Bounty lately, which is essentially turn based, and I can just I can do a little bit, go and make a cup of tea, go have a chat with someone in the house, come back and I'm playing this still. It's like it's that super chill, relaxing, play at my own pace stuff is becoming more and more appealing, and I think when you've played loads of games, because I've played a lot of games, right? You start getting to this point where the urgency of games almost turns you off because you're like, well, I don't need to be in a rush all the time with my games.
Yeah, no, I kind of felt that a couple of years ago. Like any games that have like a time limit to get stuff done, it's like, I really want to do that.
Yeah. There is it's fun to play like Tetris against the clock and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to play a JRPG that's going, you've got an hour. It's like, no, fuck off. I want a week.
Let me just, I don't know. Like last time I played, not last time. I think first time I ever played Skyrim, I didn't actually finish the main quest line till like 200 hours in.
Yeah, just who cares? Just do your own thing, right? Just chill out. Just play the way you want.
I have the best equipment in the game. I just basically one-shot the final boss. I don't care about the main storyline. It's the rest of it that was fun.
I mean, yeah, there's lots of things like that where and I think I don't like open world games, right? Like these open world games, I think again, I've played loads of games. I open world games. I just see it as pointless work now with open world games.
A lot of them are like that.
You're supposed to see it as exciting content. I'm like, nah, it's just boring stuff to work in. But if people like that, there's so much stuff to do then without even touching the main quest. I'd like to see someone make an open world game and have no main quest. It's just filled with side nonsense. That'd be great.
Please travel to the other side of the map to collect me some herbs.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, I'm going to get me a horse. I'm going to go get some fucking herbs. It's going to be amazing.
200 hours later, I was like, oh, that was like a cool dungeon over there. Oh, yeah, there's another thing. Oh, yeah, here's your herbs.
Yeah. Or you'll do the whole thing. You'll walk back and go, I forgot the herbs. Yeah, it's great.
I think in games where they have a good open world, I think the fast travel ends up sort of damaging that. I think the problem with a lot of open world games is the fact they have fast travel, so you don't have to make an interesting world.
I think I think there's two sorts of players. I've been playing a lot of Kingdoms of Amalur: The Reckoning. I couldn't remember what it's called then. My brain just went blank. Kingdoms of Amalur: The Reckoning is a great game where they've got this actually interesting open world with loads of stuff happening in it, and they've got fast travel. And I played through the first time through it, and I just never used fast travel. And I'm playing through the remastered version recently, and I found that using the fast travel, so I go to the quest by foot, and then I fast travel back to hand it in, is a really nice compromise. And I think too many players use that fast travel like it's spam. They'll just hammer that fast travel all the time. But I think as long as you're using it not to shorten the journey, but to shorten the return, that seems like a really nice way of balancing fast travel. But likewise, if someone just wants to fast travel everywhere because they just want to do quests, it's a valid way to play, I think. I don't think we should encourage it as the standard way to play, though.
No, I get that, because there are people who... Sorry?
It's a boring game, right? Skyrim's a boring game, and I can understand people not wanting to explore their world. You'll be like, yep, it's a field. There you go.
Yeah, this is why there are mods that make Skyrim more interesting, by adding interesting NPC interactions that might happen when you're traveling, but yeah.
I mean, Bethesda didn't do that, so I'm glad the modders are doing it.
Well, that's what happens with every Bethesda game, though. They come out, the modders fix the game.
Yeah, I mean, the only Bethesda game I play is Doom. You know, it's not really what people think of.
No, that's a very different sort of game. That's something I'm actually kind of excited to finally play.
Eternal.
Yeah, actually, any of Doom. I haven't even played the original Doom.
If you haven't played the newer Dooms, I wouldn't. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't suggest jumping straight into Eternal. The Doom Eternal is like this beautiful, elegant sequel that almost goes directly on from 2016. I think the best way of playing it is to play through the whole of 2016 and think of it as a training for Doom Eternal. Because Doom Eternal is really hard, like really hard. And I think if you jumped in without knowing the game at all, I think you might find it really frustrating. But likewise, if you did start with Eternal, I don't think you can go back because you feel like there's too much stuff missing. So in order to get like the best experience, it kind of feels like you should play them in order.
Okay.
And also, it's really cheap. Like Doom 2016 goes down to like £5, like on Steam sales and stuff, right? It's really cheap at times.
I'll have to pick it up over Christmas then.
Yeah, new Steam sale coming up about 2 weeks, isn't there?
Yeah, I didn't realize how close Christmas it actually got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
this December now.
Yeah, I was lining up the guests for next week, and I was like, oh, yeah, anytime after the 29th, like, shit, that's December, isn't it? Jeez, okay.
No, don't do it.
Because this year has felt...
Christmas Day.
Sorry?
Nobody wants to be on a podcast on Christmas Day.
Yeah, no, I plan to be drunk on Christmas Day.
Oh, nice.
Pretty much, I don't drink much. I say that, but I have 2 empty cans of Woodstock on the ground. But I don't drink much. Generally, the only time I drink are for, like, events. Which is not very Australian of me.
You don't mean getting drunk as an event either, do you?
I know people like that, but no, I usually drink for, like, some sort of recognized celebration. Not a Friday, generally.
There's a Y in the day, let's go!
Oh, God, I have plenty of stories about people who are like that. And then they complain they have no money.
Well, they drunk it, that's why. They're happier, they drunk it. Yeah. Mind you, given how dark and rubbish the world is right now, I can understand people wanting to drink themselves to death. It makes sense.
This year's not been the best of years.
Yeah, and don't worry, guys. Next year's only going to get worse. COVID doesn't magically go away just because the year ended. You go, oh, it's Christmas Day, we'll give up, bye. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Hopefully this vaccine goes well. I don't know.
Yeah, my method for all this is just not to think about it. I just play video games and make videos and just don't think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
that's the only thing
I can respect that as well.
Yeah. It's like, and wear your mask when you go out, people. It doesn't matter if you don't like it.
It's going to be 40 degrees. It'll be 40 degrees Celsius here during the week.
Good. I'll encourage people not to go out. Stay home. It'll be fine.
For anyone using freedom units, that's what is that in freedom units? Because the American...
I don't know. Don't pander to the Americans.
I'll give.
They're the ones with stupid things that the rest of the world ignore.
I don't like it. 104 Fahrenheit. There you go.
It's like no, America, stop it.
Yeah,
just
no,
stop
that's dumb.
America.
Just base everything around water.
Dear America, if the rest of the world is doing it different to you, you're wrong.
Do your measurements in units of 10 because that makes sense, not fucking feet and inches.
Yeah, feet and inches, like it's 1960s in England.
The only reason I use feet and inches is because everyone understands what that means for height. That's the only time I'll ever use it.
Yeah, it's weird that we use that for height, right? Like in Australia and England do that, but like in Europe, they're just like, no, don't do that. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. Like you're right, it doesn't.
No, it's dumb, but for some reason that just sort of everyone sort of gets it.
I agree with that.
And the conversation got completely derailed. Lovely.
Yep, it usually does. I'll put us back on track. You have window managers in your show notes.
I do.
Yeah. See, that's something I know about.
How long have you actually been on Linux for?
Well, when I first started on Linux, my first distro was Red Hat 6 in the 90s, right? Because I've been alive for a very long time. never, it wasn't ready. I mean, like, it just wasn't ready for full time for me because I wanted to play video games and,
That's fair.
and you browse the internet like a human. It was great and it was interesting. I played with it for years on and off, but and then I had a little go at being full time back on Ubuntu 8, I think 8.10, which is 2008. Is that how they work there? Is it?
I'm guessing
8? Yeah,
so.
2008. That was. It's the first numbers of the year, and the second numbers of the month, right? With Ubuntu, it's like 2008,
Yeah.
10th month. Not like that. Anyway, but yeah, I actually came full time, like full time with no crutch, in 2012. Basically, my thought process was, Steam's here now. I'll just play what they've got. Fuck it, and I just moved over. I just literally was like, fuck it. I can't be bothered with all with messing with Windows and fiddling with drivers.
Yeah.
I'll just use Linux now. And I just went in wholeheartedly, and yeah, I just stayed here ever since. And I've pretty much been on either Arch or an Arch variant since 2012.
So how long?
Because
Yes.
I mean, like, why would I not be with Arch, right? Like,
That's fair.
It's
Yeah.
like it's got everything I want, and I don't ever have to worry about whether an application's available in my package format for the most part. So I just stay on Arch.
Yeah. So how long do you reckon it's been since like the window manager thing has sort of like taken off? Because I can't imagine it's always been everyone's like, you have to run a window manager.
I don't. Like, I think you can get in an echo chamber with that because most people who are running Linux are running Ubuntu.
Yeah, okay, maybe it is my echo chamber then.
I think if you think about, if you just like was to randomly poll people, they're either going to be running KDE or GNOME, right?
Yeah.
Pretty exclusively. Then there'll be the subset of weird little nerds like us. They're like, just like, why would you not run a window manager? Why would you not do that?
That's fair.
And I think it's easy when you're in the echo chamber to like look around and only see everyone you know is on a tiler, so it seems normal. But I mean, like, you gotta remember, like, even though we might not love it, Pop OS, like, like Mint, like Ubuntu, like, there are big fucking distros that all run standard with standard desktop environments, and the reason they do that is because that's what most people want.
Yeah.
And most people, if they did decide to move to a tiler, wouldn't go, I'll move distro to Arch to do a tiler. They'll just go, I'll just install a tiler and just boot into it. Like, they don't need to worry about it. But yeah, I think most people are probably on GNOME. Probably.
Yeah, from what I see, like, there are people who do want tiling sort of like elements inside of their desktop environment, like things like Pop Shell exists, for example.
That doesn't
it's
work.
not very good, but it's the sentiment that counts.
Yeah, I do think that's. I think that's why. If you think about like Pop and Ubuntu being the biggest distros, right? And they are. I think it's hard to argue that, right? They're at least in the top tier.
I know Ubuntu definitely. I don't know if Pop is up there yet.
I think for gamers, Pop is quite popular because it has the NVIDIA drivers pre-baked. So a lot of people who would be on Ubuntu just go with Pop for the NVIDIA drivers, which is why we see a lot of it in gaming on Linux posts and stuff. But anyway, I think most of them, they'll start messing with tiling and eventually just go to KDE and use window rules. And that's why you see a lot of KDE in when people poll like what's the best window manager, what's the best environment. You see a lot of KDE, but there aren't that many distros that ship with KDE by default. And I'm fairly certain that people start on GNOME, they go, I like this tiling, but I don't want a tiler. And then they end up on KDE because they can use window rules. And I think that's kind of the flow. Then they go to a tiler eventually or go back to GNOME. Probably.
That's a fair point. Okay.
That's my thoughts anyway. I'm probably wrong.
No, I think you're probably not far off. So,
because
yep.
Go on.
No, I was just going
to talk. No, you carry on. Insist. I was just going to talk about pointless stuff now. I think about.
That's fair. This is what this podcast is.
No, the only thing I was going to say was like, I noticed when talking with a friend the other day that if you look at gaming on Linux polls or Unix porn polls, people, like, the vast majority of people talking are on tilers, and then when you poll people, it'll all be like KDE GNOME, right? And I think probably that looks like KDE and GNOME are really big, and then tilers are really small. But I think there's a certain like type of person that's more likely to answer a poll, and it kind of skews all the data away that's like not that representative, because most people on Linux are on Ubuntu and don't care and won't be answering stupid poll because they don't even know what desktop they're on. They're just like, there's my computer, man. I watch Netflix, and I think they're not answer your poll. And I do think it's a shame we haven't got a better way of getting data.
Yeah, no, I get that, because with using a tiler, you sort of have to be that very, very passionate sort of Linux person. And I get why those would be the people who are talking. Like, people who are just running, as you said, running Ubuntu, they don't care what they're running. Like, the tilers are the ones who are going to evangelize to you, saying, here are the great benefits of tilers. No one on Ubuntu is going to be like, yeah, this is what's so amazing about GNOME. Like, well, you don't... It's just another desktop environment. Actually, well, to be fair, like, there are some weird people who do that, but most people sort of just run it, and it's just what their computer does.
Yeah. And to be honest, like I say recently, like a couple of months ago now, I installed GNOME. I just installed it on my Archbox, and I wanted to see if I could live in it for a bit, just to kind of make sure I don't be out of touch with my audience and stuff. I was like, maybe I should just like game in GNOME just to see, just to see. I hated it. I didn't like it, but it is a very good desktop environment. Even though I hated it because I really like tilers, works well with like the way I want to work. But like, it's very competent. Like it works kind of a bit like a mobile phone, like with the things so people can understand it easier. It's got these nice animations, and it's very easy to cut down the time they take. So they can be quite nippy. It doesn't do anything inherently stupid. And if I had to go away from a tiler, I'd probably use GNOME rather than KDE. I'd probably just use GNOME because they don't like. Even though people talk about like people like scream when they got rid of the system tray, people screamed, or then there was like we got rid of transparency in the terminal, and people screamed all this, right? And the reality is, you don't care about that stuff. Like when every time you open an application, it opens on a new workspace. Why do you need a tray for? Everything's just on a different workspace. You don't need a tray, And the default gnomes, the stock gnome look is like there's basically nothing to look at behind the terminal. So why would you bother making it transparent? It's pointless code. It just doesn't matter. You're not going to have anything behind it because everything's going to be on its own workspace if you're using GNOME correctly. And I think that's kind of just one of the things where the minority are being so vocal and acting like they're being unreasonable. And no, I think GNOME's really nice. Not for me, but yeah, if there was a tiler apocalypse and they all burnt and got zombie-itis or something and destroyed themselves, they all suicided. Yeah, I'd probably just use GNOME. It's pretty good. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fair. I haven't run it, but I actually was considering running it before I switched to Linux for the first time. But then I dived into Arch.
It's got that vibe like it's from the future, right? It's got that kind of like very modern feeling. It feels like it should be easy, and it kind of is easy, but it's got that like you see it and you instantly understand everything. Like you see someone press a Windows key and then you get the overview and you're like, okay, so that's that, and I can just click on what I want. Like it's very easy to understand. The desktop paradigm is very simple and very elegant, and I think that's something it has over KDE. KDE is probably a better desktop, but yeah, I would be on GNOME if I was off a tiler.
I think a lot of that comes from how much influence Canonical has in the GNOME project, and also the fact that Canonical wants to work on like mobile Linux as well. So you're going to have that sort of mobile influence there.
Yeah, I think I don't know how much of that is Canonical versus Canonical and GNOME having similar ideas.
That could be it as well, yeah.
I mean, like when GNOME 3 happened and GNOME 2 stopped, Canonical was like, "We'll build Unity," and they built something that was basically the same as GNOME. Like they disagree on like 2% of stuff. It was like Unity, different technology under the hood, obviously, but like as a day-to-day use, it was a sidebar with a top bar. And there was workspace. It was the same thing. It was the same desktop paradigm.
That's
right?
A very unpopular opinion.
I mean, it's unpopular, but it's a fact. In like, you've got a sidebar, you've got a top bar, and you've got workspaces. Like people don't like it, but it is a fact. Like I know it's not popular, but Ubuntu with Unity worked for millions of people. Millions of people liked it, but the very loud minority was saying, "Hey, what was wrong with it?" And yeah, there was for most. I mean, I used it for a little bit just to have a look at it, and it was fine. Like there was nothing wrong with it. But then when they realize it's going to be a lot of work, we spend a lot of money doing something that is 90% the same as GNOME. Fuck it, let's go back to GNOME. At that point, they're going to go, here's our like X million users. I think it was it 3 million or 5 million the last count someone bothered trying to get for Ubuntu.
I don't have
so all of a sudden they've got all their users. They've got a big sack filled with new users, and they walk up to GNOME and go like, "We want what you're doing." Like, of course, GNOME are going to listen because they're bringing all these installs. So of course they're going to listen. But I think the GNOME people are so stubborn. If they fundamentally disagreed on something, you just wouldn't hear about it. They'd just be like, "No, we're not doing that."
Apparently, the number's 20 million, but I don't know if that number's accurate.
20 million? That can't be really. Just wow. I was on about just the main spin, right? Not the distro, not
I
the
don't
sub
know.
spins.
Apparently, this comes from the Ubuntu website. I'm looking at it on Stack Overflow, Ask Ubuntu, so I can't tell you if that's exactly correct. But apparently they were claiming they have 20 million.
Well, I mean, like, if you bring 20 million users to an open source project and bring the
Yeah.
funding that comes with that, they'll pretty much make any change you want. I can understand that, but
Yeah, I can't imagine
users
how
are-
well funded GNOME is.
I mean, I mean, I figured I was lowballing it, but I didn't think 20 million. Jesus. I mean, you know, I knew I was lowballing with 5 million, but I was thinking like all the distros, also all the different spins, people that are going to use it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you include like Starbuntu as well, I don't know how many users they'd have.
Wow. Yeah. No, I didn't. Yeah, that's insane. I did not realize that. Yeah.
Yeah.
20 million users can't be wrong. Sorry.
But yeah,
yeah. Like, so all their users affecting it. I'm going to keep going.
That's fine. Go ahead. I've given you leeway to do it anyway, so just go ahead.
Yeah. You got to be quicker. It's the delay from here to Australia. I'm just like, he's been quiet. I'll keep going. Yeah. You think like they're renowned for being stubborn, but yeah, I think that many users. Yeah, I was going with. I was thinking 5 to 8, but 20 million users is going to shift the needle, right? So that does make sense. And I would assume that comes with funding as well. But like when they're doing, I mean, you look at Unity, you know where it was. You look at GNOME, what it was then, and then you look at what Ubuntu is now. Like, yeah, there was no point carrying on doing Unity. Really, it didn't really make a lot of sense. And most of their users probably didn't much notice. They just went, "Oh, it's a bit different, all right."
Well, even if you took the GNOME user base and Canonical didn't fund it at all, but 1% of people donated $1 every year, that's still massive funding.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but also people forget GNOME is like it's a Red Hat project, right? Like Red Hat.
Yeah, Red Hat also has their. Yeah.
Red Hat aren't broke. They're going to be fine as well.
Maybe that's another reason why people don't like it, because Red Hat, Lennart, all of that connection.
Yeah, it's the anti. It's the counterculture stuff, right? People like don't want that. It's new.
There are so many things that Red Hat are involved in that people just don't think about.
I worry about that, you know. Like, I don't think that's particularly healthy that we have so much power in Red Hat's hands because they're owned by IBM. IBM did computers for Hitler, you know. Like, let's not forget that. IBM aren't a squeaky clean. I mean, we have a lot of love for them. They're big blue and all this, but they've got a shady past, man. Like, IBM are not clean cut. Like, they're hiding behind the Red Hat logo as IBM. And I don't. When I say I worry about it, I mean the abstract, because we can fork anything. It's all open source. But I think that everyone is using GNOME, which is a Red Hat project essentially, right? Like it does seem. I don't know. It seemed a shame that the big thing isn't a little indie thing that someone's doing on their own. It seems a shame that it's not something more open sourcey and more independent that's become the big desktop.
I think that's why some people are sort of gravitate, like, it's obviously still fairly small, but some people who do actually want to support those more indie projects are gravitating towards things like app images rather than Flatpaks or snaps.
I mean, that's really interesting you should say that, because I'm talking to you on the app image of Discord right now. It's for me, I'm on a Tyler anyway, right? But for me, I don't want unnecessarily software installed. And when I do an update, I don't necessarily want to update stuff that I don't care about. Like, I don't really care where the GIMP gets an update, so I use the app image because I don't want to have to wait for it to update. Same with what else do these app images for? Like Calibre, I should probably say. Yeah, like I've got app images for Discord. I've got app images. I've got app images for so much stuff. Is app imagery for Discord? It might be just the Electron download. Anyway, the point is, like, there's a lot I've taken to not using my package manager for all my applications, and I've taken to compile a lot myself and source a lot myself because I just don't want to have to wait for it to update. And even though, contrary to the popular narrative, Arch is a very stable distro if you're looking after your install, the less software I have installed, the less potential breakages I have. I'm like, I might as well do that, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, I only have one app image installed, and that's for Ripcord, which is a third-party Discord client.
Oh yeah, I know Ripcord. Yeah.
Which some people don't like because it's shareware and not free software.
I mean, Yeah, I mean, like if there was a free software version of Discord, that'd be the one I'd use. But if there's not, I might as well just use Discord, right? I might as well just use
Yeah,
proper Discord.
to be fair, you're running Discord anyway, so you're still interacting with the proprietary Discord servers.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so my app images for anyone out there that cares. Caliber, GIMP, Caden Live, Moonlight, Plex Amp, and RetroArch. They're the app images I'm using.
And Caden Live is there so it doesn't update, so it doesn't break.
Caden Live is there. Okay, so how many packages do you have installed on your machine?
Oh, too many. I review a lot of applications, then forget to uninstall them.
I know that feeling.
Oh, it broke. NeoFetch. Try that run again. I have
NeoFetch. Yeah.
1326.
I have 742 packages installed.
That's probably much better.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no reason, right? Like, it doesn't matter how many applications you have installed, right? Like, to be clear to the people watching,
I have a big hard drive.
I'm a nerd. Yeah, I mean, I've, you know, yeah, I'm alright for space. I've got 3 terabyte on this machine, right? It's not for me. It's about how much time it spends updating, right? Like, I don't want to be going to bed. I'll run an update before I go to bed. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, I can be updated for 2 weeks now. I don't want to have to mess with that, right? So the less packages I keep installed, the less updates I have. And because I'm a nerd and I get bored, I like to run a clean system. You know, I like to know everything on my system. I literally know every package on my system because I've only got 742, right? But yeah, in the case of Caden Live, if you install Caden Live, it pulls down about 90 Qt packages. And I was like, I don't want them. They've got to go. I was even like, if I can't find an app image of Caden Live, I'm just going to find a different video editor because I don't want all this Qt. I'm on a Tyler. I don't need Qt or GT. I don't want any of this stuff. I want the absolute fucking minimum. And yeah, that's why I put the app image of that.
Yeah, I should use the app image because that's one problem with Caden Live. The other problem is that every other update, something breaks. Right now.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Yeah.
Right now, my version of Caden Live, if I put more than 2 things in the queue, it crashes.
The app image is way more stable than the system-wide install, I think. Even the new versions, the app image is that. The current version I'm using, I don't know what version I'm using. It really not multi-threading properly, and it's taking ages to encode stuff. But again, I'll just let it run and just leave it under the workspace. I don't care anyway. Yeah. But like it's taking a long time, so I might
do it overnight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah, I don't tend to make I don't really have to edit that much stuff. I tend to like do my videos live to tape, for lack of a better word. And yeah, that seems to, I don't really edit massive amounts. But when I do, I'm like, yeah, this is not working properly. I should fix this.
I pretty much just cut stuff and that's about it. So there's nothing major.
You could do that on the command line.
I could do that.
That could be a fun video. I mean, no, that could be a fun. You could make a video about editing stuff on the command line, then edit that video on the command line.
That's an idea. I might have to do that. But then at the
end of the video, just like HexDSL.co.uk.
Sure, if I do it, I'll give you a shout out for it. But the problem with video editing is it's an inherently graphical process. Like, there's no way to get around that. Same with image editing. Like, yeah, FFmpeg is great. FFmpeg, ImageMagick. ImageMagick is great. But also, I want to see what I'm actually doing when I'm editing an image.
Yeah, I think ImageMagic's a beautiful. Like my wallpaper script uses. Well,
yeah, if you're gonna make something automated, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great for that. But I think that's where its usefulness lies, right? Like if I want to automate something and I want to do an action repeat, like macro and applicate macro something, then it's great for that. But I don't want to make my thumbnail for my video on the command line. Like I might do for a video for fun, but I don't want to do all my work on there because again, I want to drag stuff in. I want to rotate it. Like a good example of that is I use NNN as my file manager, right? I still keep WinR installed for when I want to drag and drop stuff because I'm just making my own life hard if I don't. So there always comes that point where like certain things have their certain uses, and I think in the Linux space, people often forget that. They often they evangelize a certain way of doing things instead of thinking about the workflow. Like if I didn't have a GUI file manager, and I wanted to edit a video, I'd have to use the built-in file manager inside Caden Live to navigate my file system. Why? How is that better? How would that be easier? Like that's just pointless.
Well, especially when most of the other file managers are probably going to be GTK file managers anyway. So if you favorite some folders in the GTK file manager, they're not going to be favorited in the Qt one.
Yeah. I use Thunab because it's an absolute basic file manager that has some nice tiny little extras, like the bulk rename thing can be kind of useful at times. To be honest, I'll use NNN for doing that, and it's got really nice bulk rename and stuff. But these little extras got the bulk rename where you can go rename everything to the left or everything to the right. There's nice little things in there, and you can it's previewing and it's pretty good as well. So I just keep it around for that. But yeah, even though I only open it when I want to drag and drop something, I still probably use it more than I use NNN because I'm most of the time want a file manager is to drag and drop something. Yeah.
I think we started this topic with window managers. So what was your first window manager? Actually, before we do that, when did you first switch to a window manager?
I came to Linux. And I did all the usual tour, and I quite liked XFCE. Which is funny because if you ask me my opinion of XFCE now, I would say it's broken, it doesn't work, and you only think it works because you're an idiot. Right?
Yeah, that's because you remember your experience.
Yeah. Well, but at the time, I really liked it. But then, I later thought about what I was doing. In fact, I'll go into more detail here, right? So, I was on XFCE, and I was happy on XFCE, but then I didn't like the pop-up notifications. So I swapped it out for Dunst, right? I didn't like the editor, so I uninstalled it, and I just used Vim, right? And then by the time I'd finished, I wasn't really using XFCE, right? I was just using all these different components and other things. And I was using XFCE as this framework to bolt it all onto, right? It was just pointless. There wasn't a single component of XFCE I liked. I was using a dock system instead of the bar. I was, and I wasn't on XFCE, but in my head I was like, XFCE is great. No, it's not. I changed everything, and then still I was only using it as a session manager. But then you do things like I advocated for a while. I was like, the tools are okay. If you want a notepad, you don't want Vim, it's fine. No, it's not. It doesn't support encoding editing. It's really weird. There's a few weird bugs with it, right? It's really odd. And I was like, but I like the task manager, right? The task manager is great. No, it's not. Reports incorrect memory values and has done for 9 years, and no one bothered fixing it, right? And then I was like, I like the little mouse logo. No, I don't. Take a look at that logo. It's stupid. It's a stupid logo. Doesn't mean any of that. Yeah, there was not one thing. I can't say anything nice about any of it now. But and people go, but it's light. No, it's not. It's literally not. It's literally one of the heaviest ones. It's light visually, as it doesn't have a lot of assets, but it's a huge memory monster. If you want a light desktop, go use Mate or something. You're going to have a better experience with it. It doesn't. There is no category in which XFCE is the correct choice. And I once read in a forum that you're supposed to pronounce it X-Face, and that sent me over the edge. I was like, uninstall, never again. Fuck right off with that. Because this guy wrote this full article about how everyone's pronouncing it wrong. I was like, if you want me to call it X-Face, you should write XFACE. If you're missing the A and make it capitals, it's XFCE, mate.
Yeah, that reminds me of there's before Free Desktop became Free Desktop, they were the X Desktop group. The X was supposed to be pronounced cross.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Which makes sense in Japanese, to be fair, but it's not a Japanese project. It's that wouldn't make sense in Japanese, though. You're like, of course, it's fine, yeah. There's I made a video once where I ranted about open source naming systems. Like Mate, right? It's mate. I was like it's called mate. If you want to say mate, write it different way so we know. But don't look down on someone for saying mate when they see the word mate. I was like, I proper went off about that. I enjoyed that video. Yeah. It's gnome. The G is silent. It's been silent. Do you know why I think it's silent? Because I once looked at a dictionary and I saw the word gnome. And it went as a silent G, mate. It's but yeah. If you want GNOME, put full stops in it, G and spell it out.
Oh no, GUH and then NOME. GNOME. There you go.
Yeah. People get far too. I think again, part of my evangelization of not being a dick in Linux is if someone says the name of your project wrong, that's not their fault. That's your fault for not telling them properly.
I intentionally pronounce Alacrity wrong sometimes.
Yeah, Alacrity is a weird one, right? Because Alacrity is actually a proper word. Right? That's the worst thing. It's one of them words that we don't see. I mean, it means speed, right? Or like celerity. That was one of those words. It means speed. So it's an English word, but it's such a bizarre, off the cuff word that people go electric because no one's ever seen it, and I've been using Alacrity for like a week before I said it out loud. I was
Brisk
like, oh yeah,
and
shit.
cheerful.
Brisk is it? Brisk is the word. I thought it
Mm.
meant like just fast or speed or brisk is close enough, right?
Yeah, it's close enough.
But brisk can also mean cold. So I don't know.
It seems to be fast in this context.
Yeah, I thought so. But either way, it's a real word, being my
Yeah.
point. But so that one is like, we should probably just learn to say that one, to be fair.
Well, it's
But
actually
no,
spelled
anyway,
differently. It has one less T.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I thought I'd been spelling the word alacrity wrong. Oh my gosh, that's
No, the project is spelled with two T's. The word is
alacrity.
one T.
I see what they did there. I've only just now realised that. That is, I actually stupid. I literally nailed it. Alacra TTY. That's smart. That's actually a really clever name. I like it more now. Great, good work, guys. You got me. Sorry. Anyway, yeah. I ended up eventually Drew, who does some videos on my channel. People probably know Drew. He was like, just use a tiler, and I was like, no, I don't want a tiler. I don't want to configure it. It's boring. And he's like, it's not boring. You're an idiot. Just use it. And I eventually agree. You sent me this series of videos. I think this is the videos everyone has seen when they first look at i3. Right? There's this guy. I think he's Australian. There's this guy anyway. He just these 3 videos where he just basically very slowly, like you're an idiot, explains every step of setting up i3 from start to finish.
I don't think
right?
I've
He's
ever
really
seen
good.
those.
You know, I'll dig them out for you. I'll send them to you. I think I might have them bookmarked,
if you can,
actually.
I'll show you on the screen.
I could be wrong. It might not be an Australian guy. I remember it, Australian guy. But my brain might be filling in the blanks because I'm talking to an Australian guy.
If anyone who's curious, it's currently 7 a.m, so that's how long we've been going for.
So, okay. So, there you go. There's the videos there, right? Those 3 videos, I feel like everyone that's ever tried i3 stumbled across these videos, right? And this guy, like, he delicately just explains the process. And that's when I moved to i3. But I also think that's the bit where I realized that the terminal's awesome. Because this guy did all this. That's great. That's cool. And I think it was also like the gateway I had for just like being like a full-on embracing my inner nerd. This was like the series of videos where I was like, I fucking love configuring stuff and messing with stuff. I love it, And I lasted quite a while. I lasted about a year with i3. And eventually, the thing that made me move away was I wanted a bunch of stuff to open in a certain order on certain monitors when I booted up. So I looked up the tree loading stuff, and the tree loading stuff, it doesn't work.
Can I just cut you off for a second? Remember that thing we said earlier about how applications that no one cares about are the things that get popular on Linux?
Yeah, what's popular? What's here?
My fucking speed reading video that no one's ever heard of this application. It is doing better than my video that I did on NeoVim versus Vim. What's the difference in 2020? Literally 0 of you people have ever heard of this application. Why the fuck is this so popular?
I tell you, mate, it's the pose with the book. It's the pose with the book.
It's almost doing as well as my video where I talked about how Apple is tracking everything you do.
I saw the title for that video you did, and I just was like, of course they are. Yeah, yeah. This isn't news. Of course they are.
The Apple fanboys were not happy with that one.
Sometimes it's fun to poke, right?
It is. I like poking the bear because I knew exactly what the response would be.
So I'll ask the whole thing about i3 is it's really difficult if you've got applications that don't load instantly. They take a little bit of loading time, right? You can't get them to consistently load up in the right places. And I know people are going to be on the comments now going, yeah, you can. I do that. No, you don't. You think you do. You try getting Spotify to load up on the right-hand side of your right monitor every time you boot up. And you'll be like, look, it works. Come back after an update and tell me if it still works. Because what will happen is it'll take slightly longer after the update or slightly quicker, which means it'll slot in the frame for the other thing first. And it's just not long term if you have, because I like to turn my computer on, everything I want is loaded, and I sit down and just use it, right?
That's fair, yeah.
And I want to go workspace 9, and I know exactly where every application is going to be, and I can muscle memory it, and I just work with my computer so whichever window manager I'm in, I want things to be in certain place on certain keys. Like wherever I am, it's mod D for Rothy. Wherever desktop I'm in, just what I want with my machine. And i3 eventually broke. I basically realized I'd spent like in a week, I'd spent like 3 hours fixing like Spotify loading the wrong window, and I was like, I just don't want to do this. So I moved to BSPWM, which uses Bash script, which means I can be very clear on what I want and when I want it to happen, and it understands sleep command. I can be clear. I was fine on that for ages, and then I ended up on DWM for about a year, and then I went back to BSPWM for about a year, and now I'm back on DWM, presumably for about a year. Because the difference between BSPWM and DWM, they're both great window managers that have a slightly different way of doing things. I think ultimately I prefer the DWM way of doing things, way of use. Like I prefer master stack. I like the minimalism, but I'm also really like the plain bash configuration of BSPWM, and like so I kind of conflicted, but I think if I had to say which is a better window manager, I might have to say DWM say just because Master Stack seems like the correct way of managing Windows.
What if I told you there was a way to get Master Stack on BSPWM and it works really well?
Oh, I probably tried it. There's a script that there's a two ways to do it that I know of. There's a script that does it, and that's something alternate script, which is a bash script people download. You run it, and then it is your Windows. The problem with that is, I do a lot, and I don't turn my computer off for weeks, right? So like, I'll float something, and I'll use it, and I'll put it back, and I'll do something else. And as soon as you float something about 3 times, then move between windows, it just shits itself, just outright shits itself, right? And again, I feel like for me, a window manager needs to be rock solid. Like I need to always know how it will behave without any exception. Because again, that muscle memory and that I don't want to have to think about using my window manager. I want it to happen like magic. I want to feel like a wizard, right? So if it can break randomly, that might be like, I mean, it might break in a way that makes that Vim window I've been working on for 3 hours invisible. I'm like, well, there goes that problem.
That's fair.
And I just don't I don't want to have it unreliable. And there's another way where you can use a window rule that's like a magical command. It looks like a fork bomb. And you can like give it these split rules in this one little command. That breaks less, but then sometimes I get confused and be like, "We're only going to split downwards now," and you're like, "What? What?" But also, even if you do that, even if you do master stack, because the way BSPWM is made, when I navigate in DWM, I'm only ever going up and down, right? Where I always have to worry about left and right in BSPWM. And while it's technically master stack when it's working, it's not really master stack, right? Because the point of master stack is you've got the top of the stack and you've got all the stuff underneath. And for me, it's not quite the same, even when it works. But I broke it every time. Same as Pop Shell, I broke that real quick as well because I use stuff fast and a lot, and I open lots of stuff, and I leave them open for ages.
Yeah, I haven't tested it long term. There's this script called BSP Layout, which does master stack, but
yeah, that's on BSP Layout. Yeah.
It probably won't fix your key problem. So that's the one thing you'd be concerned about. There's obviously ways to hack it, but it's a lot of work to get it working exactly the way you want.
I mean, if I'm gonna hack it to do this, I might as well just use DWM.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna start deep diving into the code to make it work, I might as well just do C and just do DWM, which is basically why I'm back on DWM right now. And yeah, it's kind of great, right? Like it's a pain in the arse. It is a pain in the arse setup, but I'm interested in C. C is sort of a language I do want to eventually get way more savvy with. It's a language I know that people say don't learn C in 2020. There's loads of better languages, but I have a romantic interest in C because I remember it from when it was. I'm like I was born in 1980, right? It's like for me, like C was this legendary language growing up where everyone knew C. So I've got this romanticized interest in C. And I'm interested in C. So DWM is kind of an easy sell because I've got to learn stuff, but at least I'm learning C, So I kind of have that appeal with it, which a lot of other window managers don't have. And people are always saying Xmonad as well is great. I've tried Xmonad, and like people were saying it's great. And I did try it. I hate Haskell, mostly because the 10 trillion dependencies it has. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want 10 trillion. I don't want to update my window manager and I get a billion Haskell things happen. Like,
I have Pandoc installed. I have the exact same problem already.
I use Pandoc bin. Use Pandoc-bin.
Ah,
you won't have that problem. Yeah. Just pull your Pandoc out. You just put Pandoc-bin on. And you won't even notice the difference, but you'll have none of these Haskell updates.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
But good luck purging Haskell because it self-references in its dependencies. You have to hook them all at once to pull them out.
Oh god.
Good luck with that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just reinstall Arch.
Yeah, that's no fun either, is it? Come on, Arch. Like, also, dear Arch, just make an installer. You're not impressing anyone anymore. Just make an installer because I've got shit to do. Like, I've done it many times. It's fine. I'm capable. I don't have anything to prove. Just let me install my shit. I don't want to write my own installer because that's what we have distros.
I think my favorite thing about the Arch installation process is every so often they'll change it. I think the reason they change it slightly is to break all of the videos that exist.
Oh, I'm certain they do that, yeah. And also, the first time I installed Arch, they had this installation guide, which I printed it out, I had a highlighter, and I went down the list, and at the end, I had a working desktop, right? Now they go, here's all the links to all the other shit. You choose your own way adventure. No, I don't want to choose my own way. You tell me what to do.
When did you last install Arch?
When I installed this one, so let's have a look. Let's check the age of
my they did something to piss everyone off. It's hilarious.
Last time I installed Arch was the 22nd of February this year.
Okay, cool. So you would know the problem then, where it doesn't come with Vi anymore.
Oh, it's fine. I always did was just uninstall Vi, uninstall Nano, then just install NeoVim, and then symlink NeoVim to Vim, so I don't have to worry about it. I always do that anyway, so I didn't even notice that change.
Yeah, but it makes sense. But all of the existing tutorials said download the base packages, you'd get your editor, and you get EX now. So so they also have to add Vim onto that list as well.
Wow, nice. I mean, like I think the other thing is I'm savvy enough with Linux at this point because I've been on it since 2012 that like most things I don't look up. I'm just like I'm doing that, and every day I'm like, oh, I did do that. Like, oh, I can remember that now. You know, like I'm not really someone. You know, I've been here long enough that I don't. You know, I know how to install an editor. I know my preferred editor. But yeah, like Arch not coming with an editor does make sense because like they're trying to keep it minimal and let you install something yourself. So them arbitrarily choosing an editor does seem kind of weird anyway, right? Like it does make sense to not come with that and just let you install it.
I think they also changed. They didn't remove it, but they changed the tool that you use for Wi-Fi. I don't know why. I think that they changed it from like Wi-Fi menu to using IWD.
IWD is better, right? Though
it is, but I don't know why they changed it. And it was only in the installer. You didn't get it when you like set up your system. It just came with the installer. So it's like let's change the installer for no reason.
I don't use Wi-Fi, but I use systemd networking, and all the install guides, the install guide tells you like you can use systemd networking or network manager. So I'm like, okay, I'll use systemd networking because I prefer it's faster and I use WireGuard for my VPN and stuff, right? So it's better. But then later on in the tutorial, it'll just act like you installed network manager, and you're like, no, I didn't know. I need the system. No, you know, I don't want that.
But yeah, I use Ethernet when I can.
Yeah, I'm just well. I used Wi-Fi when I was first in this house, and I was like, no. So I just bought a really long network cable and walked up the stairs with it, and that's just what I've been using ever since. But
I have power over Ethernet because I can't exactly do that because my router's outside in the garage. That's a long story for that one.
I'm like, mine's like literally if you leave my office and like go down the stairs. You're just like the router's at the bottom of the stairs, so I just like plugged into that, and I just run it up the side of the stairs, and then just straight into the office. And then that goes into a network switch here, which feeds the whole of the upstairs of the house and the network, which is quite a nice solution because otherwise I'd have to run a separate cable for my daughter, a separate cable for my server. You know, it'd be a nightmare. So the switch is nice. I literally put super glue on the back of it and just slapped it on the underside of my desk, which is like so classy because I realized like a year later it's not even remotely straight. I'm just like, it bugs me every day, and I'm like, I don't even see it. I don't know why it bothers me.
You know it's there, that's why.
Yeah, it's just bugging. I'm not gonna. I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm not gonna fix it. I'm not doing it. I'm not shredding the back of my desk just to go. It's not worth it. Not worth it at all.
How could you fix it without fixing it?
So, what window manager are you actually on as your main thing?
BSPWM.
You're on BSPWM.
Yep.
Have you been on DWM?
I was on i3 for a year. I've considered doing DWM, just haven't got around to it yet. But that is a project I want to get into.
This sounds like a self-plug. This is not a plug, so leave this out your video, right? But on my channel, if you search for DWM, there's a series of videos where me and my buddy Drew are talking about DWM, and it starts off with, we researched DWM. These suckless guys are such fucking assholes. And there's another video where we're like, we was wrong. I totally see their point. And there's another video where Drew's like, I don't like it. It's too hard to install, right? And there's another video where he's like, so I learned how to do it. Here's the guide. Let me help you do it. And it's kind of fun to like watch through that and see how we just like we flip flop back and forth because we still both agree. We kind of think the Suckless guys are like they're just like they're not professional only. They're new user hostile, right? But it's so we still stand by everything we said in those videos. But like there's a patching guide on the channel. If you just search for the DWM patching guide, where Drew goes through like how to use Git branches to make DWM like actually like easy rather than having to manually apply each patch. That's worth. I think if you're looking at DWM ever, it's worth watching that because it's literally how I let him learn it, and then he made a video, and I watched the video, and then I went and made DWM. Yeah, made my own DWM. Definitely Git branches is definitely the way to go for that. And
well, it's not like it's the first Suckless tool I've ever run. Like, I run dmenu and I have a bunch of patches. I used to run ST, so I'm used to like the Suckless way of configuring and patching stuff.
Yeah, I think with DWM, like as soon as you apply one patch, you break compatibility for all of the patches, which is why Git branches and merging is the only way to do it without manually doing it all.
I just do everything manually.
If you make what like I think there's so many like some of these patches have so many lines of code. It's almost like pointless work where you can go git branch this, merge, you're done. It's like it just makes more sense. But yeah, maybe you like doing that though manually. It can be fun. Sometimes.
Yeah, if they're that long, like dmenu patches are usually like 100 lines. Like I can merge 100 lines. That's fine. Yeah.
No, I'd lose interest. I'd be on my third cup of tea and I'd just stop. Just go back to BSP.
Maybe it's just that
DWM.
I enjoy programming though, so maybe it's just that.
Yeah, no, merging's fun. Merging's more fun. Do merging. It's definitely easier.
It does sound like a bit of a time save for sure.
But to the people that aren't on tilers, like I do have a question for the people that aren't on tilers. You know when you open a window and then you open another window and it's on top of the old window, right? Why? Why would you ever want a window on top of another window? What's the fucking point? Like if you've got a window and you want another window, you want them side by side, right? Or you want just one of them full screen. There's never a time when you want a stack of windows. It's a stupid thing that we invented when we didn't know any better, and people are obsessed with it still because Windows does it that way. It's like as soon as you think about what you want out of a window, what you never want to drag anything, and you never want them overlapping. And people have this mental block where they seem to like think that it's good that they overlap. It's not good. It's pointless because you can't see it. What's the point in it being there if you can't see it? You might as well just full screen the thing in front.
No, I entirely get what you're saying. Like this, I'll send you a screenshot. This is the one exception I have for floating windows. I'll bring that open in my thingy as well. When I'm trying to like record a podcast, the floating windows are nice as an option. So I can have my browser being recorded.
Option, right? Yeah, that makes total sense as an option. But that's the thing. You're using floating as a tool, right? You're literally using floating. So you've made the decision. In this case, you have a use case for it, which is why it's in all tilers. All tilers have the ability to float things, right? But yeah, by default though, that'd be infuriating. If you was trying to look at the thing behind that window, you'd be like, "What are you doing?" I mean, for me, I just like throw more monitors at the problem. Like we're talking right now, and I noticed when we first started that I had you on my right monitor, which meant that because of where my camera is, I was kind of looking sideways. I thought that's not good. So I put you on the right hand side of my main monitor. And then I pinned you to tag 0 in DWM, which means that I can change all my desktops around right now, and I still see you in the exact same spot. So on the left here, I'm flipping from desktop 1 where my web browser is to desktop 2 where Vim is to desktop 3 where my terminal is, and you've not moved from the right hand side of my screen on my main machine, and that's why DWM is great.
It does sound very compelling. I see your point now.
Really nice, yeah. So like I can just flip between stuff really fast, and you're exactly where I expect. And that's just so good. And then just do that by just sending you, because anything that's been sent to desktop 0, tag 0, it appears on all tags, right? So if it's on tag 0, it's everywhere. So I can just open applications as normal, and the screen with you on will always be there. So I'm not moving my attention anywhere. The ultra wide also helps for that.
You're convincing me. Yeah, the ultra wide does sound nice. Actually, how does recording with an ultra wide go? Because that was one of the concerns I had with when I wanted to buy one.
Yeah. I have a script called 1080 Scrub that I've got on Mod U, and I hit Mod U, and it uses XR&R to ping me into 1080p. So I just ping into 1080p, open OBS, do my video, and then just put it back again.
Okay.
I did a couple of videos in ultra wide, and people either don't care or fucking hate it and won't stop telling you. So I was like, really, I get a better frame. Like you always take a hit on frames when you record game footage. So I was like, I've only got a 5600 graphics card, an AMD 5600 XT. Anyway, I've not got an amazing graphics card, so I was like, I might as well make it easy for myself and just record my game video in 1080 and then get the extra frames while I'm recording. So I just like hit the button, do my video, hit the button, go back to what I was doing, and it's fine. Yeah, an XR&R, just like especially in a window manager, probably not so much in a desktop environment, but in a window manager, you can just like ping a monitor resolution back and forth, no problem. It doesn't care. I've even got another script because like this monitor supports FreeSync. So if I hold down like Mod Shift and U, rather than turning my screen into 1080, it turns off my right hand monitor, which enables FreeSync on my ultra wide, so I can play Doom Eternal super smooth, which is nice.
That is nice.
Yeah, but it's not nice that X11 doesn't support FreeSync with more than one monitor though, so I have to turn it off. That's annoying. But it's nice that Linux lets me work around that with one button.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that is an amazing tool. Like when I first plugged in my second monitor, I was like, "Why is this not working?" And I went and like tried to like search for ways to get it work, and I found this tool. I was like, "Oh, I have to like configure my monitor to be where exactly I want it to be. Otherwise, it's going to duplicate it or something. Sometimes it just won't show anything." But once you got it working, once it's working, like I can just turn my second monitor off. I can turn it on. I can put it above. I can turn my third monitor on. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, well, I mean, XR&R is the command line tool to do that, but there's a program called AR&R, which is a graphical front end. People don't know about it, though, and a lot of people end up using all sorts of weird tools. And AR&R will just make you a script that you can run. It will just put your monitor how you set it up. It's really nice if you just want to configure it visually.
I might have to talk about that one, because, yeah, that is a good point.
People don't know about it. I mean, I know like it's most like people who've been on it for a while know about it. But when people first come to Linux and they want to use tilers, they're like, how do I configure monitors? AR&R is something everyone should just know about for that. It's another free video for you.
It's fun. I've got like 600 video ideas. I have I scrape most of my video ideas from Reddit. I have the subreddits with interesting things in it in RSS feeds, and just scroll through those. I even have Unix porn in there. I only take the stuff that's tagged OC because everything else is garbaged.
Yeah, I mean, my video idea literally is just like whatever I'm doing.
That's fair.
Like that's it. I'm so lazy. I'm the worst YouTuber ever.
But it does make you do like really honest videos, so I can respect that.
Yeah, but sometimes it does mean like this week, all I've been doing is fucking around with like DWM is all I've been doing. So like I've done 2 videos. And I'm like, I can't make a third video about DWM this week. I can't do that. So. Yeah. But I'll play some games tomorrow morning. Get some gaming done tomorrow morning. Might have some thoughts then.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So we are getting fairly close to the time that you said you're basically not free out anymore, like 9 p.m, whatever it was.
Well, 9 p.m. I usually have a standing play date with a friend where we play terrible games at 9 p.m. So it's not like off, but yeah, we've talked for ages, and yeah. I was about to make some more tea as well, so
Well,
was there anything you particularly wanted to touch on before we stop?
No, I don't think there's anything. We touched on all of the topics I sort of wanted to touch on. Surprisingly so. Yeah. Actually, no. One last thing. About Library or Odyssey, whatever they're going by now. Why'd you end up putting your content over there as well?
Literally, I don't really bother with or care about alternate platforms because, as I've said before, like I'm not chasing hits and stuff. And if something becomes a dominant platform, I'll just switch over then. But some people emailed me. A couple. I only paid attention because I got 2 emails within a few days of each other where someone said, they literally where they are. Like one goes at university, another goes in another country. They literally can't view YouTube. And they saw my videos over on BitChute, which is something I set up ages ago because there was a form I filled in, and that was it. It was just so low hanging fruit. I just did it, and they were like, "But that also doesn't really work for them anymore. So, is there any chance I could go on Library, which they've got access to?" So I logged into Library. I set it to automatically mirror my YouTube videos, and that's the last time I ever checked it. I tried to get in a few weeks later, and it somehow hadn't associated my YouTube channel being synced with the password I logged in with. So I can't edit any of those videos. And I was like, I should fix this. I was like, I should get around to fixing this. But I was like, also, what am I going to edit? What am I going to do? It's just mirroring YouTube. I don't need to touch this. And because I don't have to do anything, I do it. I really wish PeerTube would just automate the process as well, because I find with PeerTube, I tend to go, "Oh, this is a video that PeerTube people like," and then I'll go and put it on PeerTube. Whereas I think it might be nicer just to give them all the videos, but I just, it just seems like an extra step that I'm like, I don't really think about it unless it's like, when I did all my videos on Caliber, the the ebook managing software. When I did my video on Caliber, I did I put all of them on PeerTube because I thought about it. But then there was a bunch of more videos I just hadn't thought of. And I was like, I can't dump them all in the same day. So they ultimately never got there. But I really wish other services would do the auto linking to YouTube, because like it just means that we just getting the videos everywhere without adding loads of extra work for the creation pipeline.
Yeah, I'm very lazy with the manually uploading stuff. I do it to BitChute because BitChute's a big platform. Because I can't get it work. I've tried it so many times, it just never works for me.
I don't like. I feel like BitChute as a platform. Let's be honest, it's a bit fascist. I'm not being a dick here, right? But like, I like my content is kind of like, yay, be nice to everyone be cool, right? And then you go, and then I see my video on BitChute, and there's like a man like, this is my gun. Or it's like,
I love BitChute. Like, it's fucking dumb. You just go to the front page. It's like, we're gonna talk about the Jews. Like, can we? Can we not?
Okay. There's not. I don't want my face next to a man talking about Jews, like how bad Jewish people are. I'm like, that's not what I want. I don't want that. My whole shtick is I like everybody and I want everyone to be cool and have fun, right? I don't want to be there next to a man who thinks Hitler was great. Like, no, I'm not into that. The time I was like, I actually was like, I want to find out how I turn off the syncing. Was when you had the one video that was a guy. This was in like last June, where the guy's like why homosexuality is evil, and I was like, I don't agree with that. Then there was my face on just one of my videos where I'm just grinning my ass off and playing an indie game, right? And then next to that was a guy going, why women should not have the vote. And I was like, I don't want to be on this platform. I don't know how to stop it anymore. I don't think I'm a good fit for this. But the only reason it auto syncs for me was because the platform was in alpha, and they emailed me and asked me to go on the platform. And I was like, all right. And I went there and I was like, what do I have to upload every video? And I was like, no, we'll take care of it. And I just never thought about it ever again. And then every now and again, I'll get someone like an email saying I've had a comment. I'll go there and it's like, it's like you're not fascist enough. Be more fascist and stuff. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm not that guy. Not that guy. I love everyone. It's fine.
My first comment on BitChute was, I was talking about some proprietary software, and they started accusing me of being a Jew. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like
it's like, also, even if you are, that's fine. That's okay.
I don't care. If you're a Jew, that's fine.
Fine. It's okay. It's okay not to be an angry white man. It doesn't help me that I'm bald, right? I've got a beard, right? Let's face it. At first glance, you could accidentally think I'm a white supremacist. I'm aware of this, right? I know this is a thing, right? I'm totally aware of that. Not a white supremacist. And I think as soon as you watch my videos, you go, oh no, he's all right. He's lovely. He's not a white supremacist at all. On BitChute, right? They see a thumbnail. I'm bringing up the thumbnail for you, right? They see a thumbnail and they just assume I'm a white supremacist, and they want to go there and they want to tell me they assume that, right? Because they've got this thumbnail where I'm just sitting there with a backdrop, and I didn't realize it looks a bit Alex Jones. That thumbnail does. I didn't really realize it at the time. Again, I'm just like, it's got like what is it, 3,000 views over on, like, is it more than that?
Yeah, and the OBS logo with that background does look a bit sketch, doesn't it?
Yes, I know. I like, that's why it's the number one. That's why it's my number one video on BitChute, because white supremacists are like, he's one of us. It's like, not a white supremacist. Also, that thumbnail is the fattest I've ever been on camera. Why is that the one where loads of people are watching it? That's not something I want as people see. I'm not that fat anymore, but that thumbnail still haunts me. Yeah, so yeah, I get the occasional comment. I don't get, thankfully, no one knows about BitChute, and I don't get very many comments on there. But when I do, they're always like, I'm always like, how do I get off this service? Why am I still on here?
I just take the approach of pointing and laughing. I think it's too much effort to be angry about it.
I'm not. I mean, I'm not really angry about it, but at the same time, like the internet spends so long laughing at white supremacists and fascists. We should be stopping them, not laughing at them. We should be going, "Whoa, don't do that. That is not okay. Here is why you are in error." But instead, we go, "Ah, you're an idiot," and like no, like and they just get more angry and they get more insular, and they talk to other like-minded people, and then you've got like you've got Hitler Youth again, and it's you know what I mean. In America they've got actual Nazis, and I think partly to blame that is the normal people on the internet that go, "Oh, it's fine, you're just being a dickhead, piss off," and we don't stop them. We should be like, "No, don't do that. That is bad." I think we owe it to ourselves. Like every time we see a white supremacist, to go, "Bad, don't do that," instead of just going, "You're an idiot."
Yeah.
But anyway, I have a little rant.
Yeah. That's fine. If someone watches all the way to the end, they can have that rant.
I thought about growing hair just so I look less like a white supremacist. And I realized I can't because of nature, so I stopped trying.
Nah, well, that's too bad.
Thought about getting a hat, maybe a comedy hat.
Start wearing a beanie or something.
Oh no, that's even worse. No, that's worse than being a white supremacist. Being someone who wears a beanie. I don't want. It's an even worse idea of me.
Oh god. Well, I think that's as good a point as any to end it.
Yeah.
So usually the way I'll end this off is giving just some random channel out there a shout out. So if there's anyone out there you've been watching who you think deserves a bit of attention,
yeah. Random chat. Does it have to be Linux, or can it just?
It can be literally anything. You can give me like some sketch comedy if you want.
Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this guy Linus Tech Tips? Have you heard? Oh,
never heard of Linus Tech Tips before.
There is this channel, right? That I keep watching, and every time I see it, I laugh my ass off. It's a really funny channel, and they get like 4 hits. It's really weird, right? Oh my god, I think it's called like Phone. Here you go, Phone In. There's this. They got 666 subscribers, right? It's called Phone In, right? I have no affiliation with them at all, right? I just randomly found this when I was up late one night drinking tea and watching comedy sketches on YouTube, and they just make these weird short conversation sketches, and they're always like either so surreal that I end up like confused and go to bed, or I end up genuinely laughing out loud. It's a really interesting little channel, and yeah, and I just can't believe that even now only got 660 subscribers. I think I had about 100 subscribers when I first jumped.
I've been going on for quite a while. What the hell? How do you only?
Yeah, I know, they're so good, and like not all their stuff is gold. Some of it's just really weird, but even the weird stuff's kind of worth watching. But like they work so hard on it. You can see from just like the preview things. They work so hard on this channel. I don't know who they are, but like I can't believe they've not got like at least a couple of thousand subscribers.
I will have to check this one out.
Yeah.
Okay, as for me,
yeah, some of it's weird. Granted,
the
Lonely Robot sketch is just odd and a bit uncomfortable, but it's still they work really hard on it.
I'm forgetting his name. Not Tom. Tim. That's the one.
Tim. Yes, you'll find Tim on the internet.
Here we go. No, it's this game developer, Tim Creef. I'll send you a link to his channel. I was speaking to him on Twitter the other day. He's making this like physics-based game. He's been making games for a while, but he's currently making something called Octahedron, where you're like this little spaceship and you like fly around space, but it's all physicsy based, and it's kind of interesting. He's doing like a game developer vlog series, just basically going over like the process of making the game. Plus, he did this really cool video called "Using OBS as a cellular automaton to create amazing patterns." Basically, he took the idea of using the OBS preview window, and when you overlap the preview window with itself, you know how it like creates the infinite. If you combine that then with like sharpening effects and stuff, it creates like really weird patterns because the rendering completely breaks, and you can make some pretty awesome looking things with it.
That that can't be good for it. I mean, that I feel like
no.
somewhere inside your computer something's screaming, like someone's going, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah, I
And your
noticed
graphics
that I
card.
get some frame drops when it happens, so it's clearly not good.
Still, you can do cool effects. That's better.
Yeah, it is cool. So yeah, this guy he only has like a 534 subs. The game's awesome. I don't know why it's so small. And he's developing it in Godot as well, which is cool.
Oh, Godot's good. Godot's good. I still prefer it when people when people are like, I just made my engine in C myself. I always prefer that, but Godot's an excellent.
Godot's a good alternative.
Yeah, and can I get one more? Can I get one more?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Right. Okay, one more little recommendation. Right. Again, not Linux related, but we don't have to do everything at Linux. And I'm not recommending this because I think the YouTuber needs it, but Adrian's Digital Basement on YouTube, right? This guy's got 90,000 subscribers, so he doesn't need our shout out, right? But the reason I want to recommend this, right, is because this is, I think, one of the best channels on YouTube, right? And I think there's a lot of people, especially in the Linux community, that will love this. This guy basically, there's a series on this channel where he just repairs Commodore 64s for 4 hours and just talks about what he's doing, does some soldering and shit. And it is the most amazing accidental ASMR you'll ever see. And he's just really excited when they work. And he's like this amazing electrical guy who keeps going. He'll do this ridiculous shit with soldering. He'll go, "I'm not actually trained, so this isn't a tutorial." And then he'll do ridiculous science, and you're like, how? I don't understand. It's a really good channel, and I think a lot of Linux people would really enjoy watching him fix old computers and stuff.
It does look pretty cool.
It's really cool. His Commodore 64 series. He just does a repair-a-thon where he's got 5 Commodore 64s, and he just bins them all to find it. He goes through the binning process to find out which ones are working, which ones, and he ends up cannibalizing one to fix 2 more. It's a really great channel, and he's not a YouTuber type. He's not trying to do the YouTubey thing. He's just a dude that likes fixing old shit, and I'm I really respect that. So yeah, you might like it. It's fun.
Yeah, it seems like the algorithm really likes him. Well, he only has 90k subs, but he's getting some videos with over 50,000 views. That's some videos here have over 100,000. What the hell?
Yeah, he's doing great, right? And so that's what I'm saying. I'm not recommending for him. I just think that it's one of these where he gets all these views, and then every time I talk to people, I'm like, do you watch Adrian Black? And they're like, what the fuck's this? Who's this? And I'm like, no. And then the amount of people, I think I might be responsible for all his views because I'm always telling people to watch his Commodore 64 repair-a-thon. That might be my fault now I think about it.
I'll have to check that one out as well. That also sounds pretty awesome.
Great. It's great.
Okay, so where can people find you?
The best place to find me or anything I do is over at hexdsl.co.uk. That's where you'll find my blog, which most people won't care about in Linux because I read a lot, right? And I write book reviews and stuff, as well as there's some creative fiction I've written on there. So that's not for you, right? But if you scroll down, there's an area called Places You Can Find Me, which is where you'll find my Mastodon link, my YouTube link, an RSS feed for the site itself if you are interested. And the thing people always want, which is my GitHub repo, because everyone's always sees a thing and they're like, "I want that." Well,
give me your dot files. Please upload your dot files. Have you checked my GitHub?
The number one question I get on my videos, whenever I show my desktop, they go, "What web browser is that?" Firefox. I put the tabs on the side and get rid of the UI. That's all I've done. And I got asked the question so many times. I made a whole section in my dot files called "How to Make Your Firefox Look Like My Firefox," because I was so. And now I just link it. And I even did a cosmetic URL, so you can go .hexdsl.co.uk, and it takes you straight to my Git repo, just because I was so bored of replying to the same email. So yeah, it's not even that weird what I did. I just put the tabs on the side and got rid of the, that's it. I didn't do anything weird. For people that are convinced it's some kind of weird alien browser, it's just Firefox.
No, but it's got to be Surf or something. Can't be Firefox.
Yeah, that's what people think. People are like, "Oh my god, you made Surf look really good." I'm like, "Did I? Did I?" It's just yeah.
No, Mozilla did that actually. I just made it.
Mozilla. Great job with Surf, yeah. But man, no, I mean, at first glance, it does look different, but it's just the reason I'm on Firefox, the reason I think Firefox is a good browser, because when I go browser, I want my tabs on the side because I've got an ultra wide.
Yeah.
I want to use the width, right? So I want my tabs on the side, and I don't want the UI. There's a reason for all that.
That's fair.
So yeah,
cool.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. They're actually in my browser, so I will.
Yeah, if you want to send a screenshot, I'll send it to anyone who doesn't know what it looks like.
Yeah. I'm just trying to. You can tell I'm on a new window manager. I couldn't remember what key I bound to do that.
Have you not bound the keys the same?
Yeah, I had to move some keys around because I wanted to add some extra bindings. And I was like, what did I put my upload button to? I was like, oh shit, there you go though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I can see why people think this looks weird.
Yeah, no, I get why they think it, but I was so bored of answering the same question. That's why I was like, I need to document this. But yeah, you can do that for videos. Another video idea for you. There you go.
It actually already was a video idea. I just haven't got around to it.
But no, it's nice because I can hold down I can hold down like Shift and then use J and K to move up and down the stack, and it makes sense using J and K when you've got vertical tabs because you move it up and down the stack. Or I can press a button to get rid of the sidebar entirely, and then press B like in Vim to navigate the tabs directly like that as a buffer stream. And then I use a plugin that lets me use Vim commands in my browser, so I can hit F for hints, and then so I can use it way more keyboard driven because I like Vim. So it makes sense to me.
That does sound cool.
But yeah, and also I make YouTube videos, usually about 3 a week. Anything from DWM tutorials to gaming to just a book I read. I try to do just stuff I'm interested in, so I can keep making genuine videos rather than trying to think of topics.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not very good at thinking of topics. Yeah.
Yeah, I read quite a bit myself. Currently, I'm going through. Okay, the title's backwards. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Very good book.
No.
And you've got your Unix book there somewhere.
Oh, Unix: A History and a Memoir by Brian Kerringham.
It's
weird because I hate reading print, right? When I read a book, I want to read it on my Kindle because my Kindle is always in my satchel. So it's always with me. So I want to read it on my Kindle. And also, I can read it in bed because it's got a light on it. So I like my Kindle, right? Before anyone shames me for having a Kindle, right? They're great. They're good. I like them. I don't buy my books from Amazon. I get them from DRM Free or Pirate Bay, and I put them over myself. I'm not advocating their service, just their hardware. Yeah. But yeah, Brian Kerrigan, the version of this book you can buy on Kindle or you can obtain on Kindle by any method necessary, is a scam. Brian Kerrigan, one of the guys who created Unix, can't figure out a way to make a proper fucking version of this book that's not a scam. So it was easier for me just to buy it and read the paper version. Anyway, yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me if you fucking wrote it like Trough or something. Just regenerate.
Hey, Trough is fine.
Trough is fine. No, I do like it. But he seems like the kind of person who would do everything with Trough.
Yeah. It's I mean, he probably has. I just think it's a case of like he's an older guy, right? He's probably just like, fucking book, just buy it. Like, it's probably his attitude is just simply just a fucking book, just fucking buy the book, He's like, stop being a hipster, just buy the book. But yeah, so I've had to buy it in print and it's like I read a book a week every week, right? Which is how the blog exists. But I'm like, I keep starting this, then putting it down again because I'm like, ugh, paper. I'm just like, I read in bed. I'm like, I need to get a lamp, and I'm like sideways, and my arm gets tired. I'm like, oh, it's horrible. I don't know why. I don't know how I ever read paper. It's just awful. Which is a sign of the times, right?
Nah, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm a big fan of just breaking stuff. I'm a big fan of paper books myself. It's nice. Just I don't have a Kindle. That's my thing. Like, if I had one, it'd probably be great.
Paper. I mean, I'm not against paper books, obviously, but for me, I had a lot of books to the point where like I didn't have any. I was using them as table legs at one point because I just needed to put them somewhere. There was literally one of my desks was held up by, but I was like, this is stupid. So I just basically got them all again on digital version and got rid of them, and then like I ended up with just a higher end Kindle. I'm like, just like, it's got a backlight. I can read it in bed. I can tap the screen to, it's so much better for my use case. And the fact that I'm always reading more than one book. So I used to like go out and I'd be like, which book should I take with me? Because I'm all reading like 3. And it just, for me, the Kindle just makes more sense. But there are other e-readers available before anyone shouts at me.
Yeah. Well, I might have to get one at some point, but I don't know.
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay, so yeah, we'll end it off there. So before we go, I would like to thank all of my supporters. Thank you to Chris, Joachim, Donald Corbinion, Andrew, Nathan, Montezzachi, Gabento, Joseph, Mitchell, Pittity, Road, Tony, Tushar, and the $2 patrons. If you want to go find my stuff, I'm available on the Brody Robertson channel. I do more planned content than this. That's just all Linux stuff. This podcast is available as a Linux release, as an audio release on anywhere you can find audio podcasts, and the video version is available on Library and YouTube. So watch whichever version you want. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Any closing words?
I'll be linking it everywhere. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, awesome. You don't actually have. I've never actually asked anyone to promote it, but if you want to promote it, go ahead.
I'll promote. I just don't have to say any of this stuff again. Then I've said it now. Just point him at this. Say I can just go out to playing Doom. I haven't got to say stuff.
Thank you guys for watching. I'm probably gonna go have a nap now.
Bye.